to the Turnbuckle presented by Bruiser Nation Productions right here on Heel Turn Wrestling on Facebook. The most wild, crazy, extraordinaire wrestling cadre of people I've ever seen on Facebook. I am Loganity Morris, or whatever's left of him, and alongside me is the man that is quiet, humble, ready to rumble. He puts the produce in producer. Also, you do that in the grocery store, to my understanding, if I'm not mistaken. This man has never seen a quarter pounder he doesn't like. I, of course, am talking about Lauren's future hubby, Travis Snarlinapper.
Did you say cadre?
Cadre.
T-shirt.
Cadre.
Gotta be a t-shirt.
The buckle cadre.
Cadre.
Macabro. In case you're wondering where McCarthy is before I let Napper talk, he'll be here in the 6 o'clock hour.
Yeah.
He's out doing his thing.
As if we really need him.
The adult in the room.
I guess so. Keeps us from completely going off the rails.
Yeah.
Till we get to that little tidbit after SmackDown. Doing great. I'll be even more great when we get to that segment, because then it'll be even more fun to sit back and watch everything.
That's why I put it down here. It's going to be a little while before we get to it, and that way he can be prepared and ready. And
yep.
Yeah, looking good.
So, just to let everybody know, we're going to talk some Crown Jewel today, talk some SmackDown, talk some Raw. We got some other things that we're going to talk about and yell about with one another, which is going to be so much fun to have happen. And then, of course, we have to talk about Halloween Havoc, which is coming up. So I'm looking forward to that.
Halloween Havoc, yes, tonight. Chucky going to be in the house. Chucky, the Chuckster, going to be in the house tonight.
I mean, they've had Muppets in the house, so I mean, it can't get worse, can it? Can it?
Well, every time, look, I don't want to put WWE down too bad because Raw was good last night.
Yeah, it was.
But every time I've ever thought, boy, it can't get worse. Oh, yes, it can. Oh, yes, it can. So
we have a Hell in a Cell match and a disqualification.
Don't remind me. Look, I love those Saudi shows, but that was an absolute cluster. But, but to be fair, so is 2021.
Amen to that.
I don't know what's more of a cluster, 21 or 20. But well.
That's going to be a big poll in 2022 if we're not out of this by then.
Well,
maybe 2022 can be in the running. Who knows?
Well, let's only hope. No.
Let's very much hope.
Okay, so let's talk about. There's some big time tea, as my better half would say. She likes tea, you know. That's what the young kids call drama, gossip.
Ooh.
So, have you seen this big time tea?
I have.
Yes.
I have.
Charlotte Flair. We saw Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch do a title exchange last Friday on Fox.
Right.
We were very against that for obvious reasons, because it's just stupid.
It's stupid.
Yeah, that's why we didn't like that. But then, ladies and gentlemen, it turned out to be that that the people in the segment really didn't like it either.
You don't say.
So let's talk about it. Let's break it all down. Reportedly, and I didn't mark out a bunch of direct quotes from all the reports. So I am paraphrasing. So if I get a few things a little inaccurate, I do apologize, because I just didn't want to take the time to fill up my rundown with a bunch of quotes. So, but from what I understand, the title exchange went rogue. Charlotte Flair was not happy about doing the title exchange, number one, which, hey, welcome to the club. Charlotte Flair reportedly was okay with dropping the title to Bianca Belair on that Raw on Monday, that last Monday, which would have been much better of an idea.
Shocker.
So she reportedly pushed for it, and then said no. Don't know why.
Because she's Charlotte Flair, and he doesn't want that to happen.
And then,
because she's a rookie.
Yeah.
You've only been on the brand for about a year now at this point.
And your last name's only Flair.
No, Belair.
Oh, got you. Oh, who cares? But
Exactly. That's my point.
plus, Bianca's over.
Yeah.
Bianca's over.
Yeah.
You didn't quite get it until you win, but she's over. Look, here's the deal. I sound like the president. You ever notice that? He says, here's the deal a lot.
Here's the deal.
Yeah, he goes, here's the deal.
I feel like every president's got that one catchphrase.
Yeah. Some people say, believe me. Some people say, yes, we can.
Let me be clear.
Some people say, let me be clear. Some people say, what did they tell me to say here? We love you, W.
All right.
Yeah, he said, now watch this drive.
All right.
So, remember that when W was like, he was like giving that update on terrorist situations at the golf course? And he was like, now watch this drive.
Now watch this drive.
All right. Now that's been the political hour with Jim Turnbuckle.
Oh, McCarthy missed it.
Well, because we did the right thing there. We made fun of no one and everyone at the same time. Nobody can say we're partisan. Nobody can say we're partisan. We have bipartisanship to the Turnbuckle.
We are equal opportunists, make fun of us.
Yeah, absolutely. Make fun of us, yes.
Yes.
Believe me.
English.
All right. So, but back to the Charlotte situation.
Oh, yeah, that thing.
Charlotte went rogue, and I guess didn't, kind of made Becky look bad or what have you with dropping the belt because the belt was all over the place all of a sudden. Like they don't throw it around every other week anyway. What do you make of this situation? I mean, reportedly, Charlotte had to be escorted out by security, not because that she was behaving that poorly, but more like everybody wanted to kick her ass, including Sonya Deville, who could kick her ass, as you know, she has an MMA background.
Yeah.
What do you make of all this? And I'm going to ask the question that needs to be asked here. With all this going on, is Charlotte Flair's days in WWE numbered? Because the reports are that she still has numerous years left on her contract. Of course, Andrade is in AEW, and I call him Mushmouth because he just, I don't like his, I'm not liking it. I'm not. But that's for a little bit. We'll talk about it.
Okay.
But Andrade in AEW, Ric Flair kind of on the outs with the world right now, but still Ric Flair. Reportedly, people close to her, I would assume that would be Andrade and Nate, would like her to leave WWE. That's a rumor. What do you make of all this? She's got numerous years left on the contract. Reportedly, she has isolated herself from the locker room, and nobody wants to work with her. That's the report. Have you seen that? What do you make of all this? Are we getting close to the end of Charlotte Flair in WWE? Why or why not?
What I make of it is quite simple. That's what I make of it. Bunch of whining babies. Bunch of whining babies. And one of them happens to be probably Charlotte Flair. No, in seriousness, I'll answer one of your questions first. Do I think her days are numbers? Let's start off there. No. Because I cannot foresee Vince allowing that to happen. There's a lot of things Vince will do, and that even shocks me. Getting rid of Bray Wyatt was one of them. I would guarantee you Vince would drop dead 10 days after this happened if Charlotte Flair ever left the company. Because I can't see it happening. He would have to be on his deathbed. So I don't think that's going to happen. That being said, the biggest thing that I make of this is I think everyone's getting frustrated with the way things are being done with the women's division. And it's probably pretty accurate. I mean, look what they did with the Queen's Crown tournament for the longest time. Every match had only 3 minutes, if even that. And then they mishandle what should be a very easy process with 2 championships, which, again, why are we doing a swap? Why? You could have easily given the belt, like you said, you could have easily given the belt to Bianca. You could have given the SmackDown belt to Sasha. Bada bing, bada boom, problem solved. Even if the very next night you gave the belt to someone else, at least then it was like, okay, well, they had a match for it. He won the belt. I'm not that happy about it, but hey, he won the belt. Live and let live. Like, if Seth wins the belt next week, am I happy about it? Probably not. Do I care that much that I'm, furious because he won the belt? No. Why? Because they had a freaking match over it. I believe the isolation story, though. I really do. And I do think part of that has to do with Rick.
Nature boy.
I do think that she's probably isolated herself because I can imagine there's some tension there.
Why do you think it has to do with Rick? The Dark Side of the Ring stuff?
Yeah.
Or just...
Dark Side of the Ring.
So...
Which maybe is fair, maybe is unfair, because I'm sure I would be very hard-pressed to believe that nobody in that locker room understands who Ric Flair is and what Ric Flair is all about. At this point, even if they're, just co-workers of Charlotte Flair. But even then, stuff like that can breed uncomfortability. And I think that at that point, maybe she's isolating herself either because it's becoming uncomfortable to work with her, or she's doing it just in case.
Well, see, here's the thing. Look, nature's Nate. He's responsible for his own behavior.
Yeah.
Charlotte's not. And also, and I'm going to get into this a little bit later on, but you'll notice that the first thing on the Dynamite Rundown is Bryan Danielson versus Dustin Rhodes.
Mm-hmm.
And again, in the original, and I'm going to get into this with McCarthy big time, in the original lawsuit filed, that Plane Ride from Hell, he was accused of just as horrible of things.
Yeah.
And he's working on TV. And also, I think that I went to an NWA show this weekend.
I saw.
We're not here to promote that, and I said, well, I don't have any NWA merch, believe it or not. I don't. I changed that this week, but and so I said the closest thing I have to NWA with other things is Ric Flair gear. So I dusted it off, as you saw. And I'm sure someone thought, well, that's horrible. I got nothing but compliments. And my point being is I could not move without someone going, wooing at me or, being like, he's the GOAT. I got to tell you, I think based on that weekend where I'm sure there was more than just Kentucky and Tennessean folks there, I think some of the cancellation of Flair was overblown. I think most of us can go, whatever happened there, long time ago, he denies it, she says it happened. I think we'll all have that in mind forever, but we all don't know the truth. And I'm not saying she's lying. I'm saying we don't know. Because especially given what Rob Van Dam and how that ended up with the editing and all that. Because I was worried when I put that stuff on. I was like, am I going to get kind of thought that I'm okay with that behavior? I was worried about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I got nothing but praise. Nothing but not one negative look, at least that I saw. It was... My point is not to be like, let's talk about that show. My point is this. I got a feeling that most people were like, if Rick did it, that sucks, and that's wrong, that's horrid, and he should pay for that. But I think most people are able to go, we weren't there. I think sometimes the media can get us in a bubble. I do have a comment I wanted to get to. Eli Meyer says, happy NXT Halloween Havoc night. Happy NXT Halloween Havoc, Eli. He says, Chucky cost Braun Breaker the NXT title. That's his call. I hope not. Should Braun Breaker win the championship?
Yes.
Yep.
We'll make our... Even if it's not now, he should be...
tonight.
Yeah,
tonight.
I believe so.
All right. Look, people, when it comes to Charlotte Flair, her days are not numbered. They're not. They're not. Want to know why? Because she's Charlotte freaking Flair.
Exactly.
And she is the greatest athlete in WWE Women's Division history. She might be the greatest natural athlete not named Brock Lesnar in WWE history.
Very possible.
She's in the same ballpark athletically with Brock Lesnar, with Kurt Angle, with Gable Steveson. I'm sure when he makes his debut, she's that talented. Now I don't know who was right and who was wrong in this situation. Both these women need to get the hell over it. If Charlotte was being that difficult, she should stop it.
Stop it. Just stop it.
But no, Charlotte. I'm not gonna say that Charlotte's never going to AEW. Maybe when her contract runs out, she's like, I'm out. All right, bye. She doesn't have to sign a new deal.
No.
But as long as she is under contract, I don't think she's getting cut. She would have to become a toxic cancer to even have a possibility of that happening. And there was a man who we all adore named Shawn Michaels who was that for a long time and Vince just put up with it.
Yeah.
So
I said, if he lets her go and lets her walk out the door, keep an eye on your news because he dead in about 10 days.
Well, he's built a hologram, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Of course.
But,
another exploding limo.
And no disrespect to Sonya Deville, but she shouldn't be in this conversation.
Yeah, that is a little bit surprising.
Like Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair are two of the greatest women draws in WWE history. Mm-hmm. Sonya Deville is, and I'm not making light of this. All she's known for is getting stalked. That's it. Name me one damn thing she's done besides have a great suit game.
It is pretty magical.
That's it. And like I said, I know.
Hopefully that changes soon. But
I know someone's going, you're going to make light of her getting stalked? No, I'm not.
We didn't.
I'm saying that's all she's been known for in her WWE tenure. That's the biggest thing.
And a feud with Mandy Rose that was,
I'd have rather seen them kiss.
Sonya probably would have too.
That's fair. But nonetheless, in all seriousness, Sonya Deville, stay out of it and do your job.
Well, and that's the hard part because what is her job at this point? Is it really a backstage presence? Like, has she become a booker or producer or so on and so forth?
I think Sonya Deville at this point should be part of the next round of cuts. You don't need two people doing Adam Pearce's job.
I don't think she should be cut, but if they're not going to use her on the roster, then
I'm not wishing her to lose her job. What I'm saying is, if we're in cost cutting mode, what is she doing?
I would rather see her wrestle for sure, but
I'm not wishing her to lose her job. But if we're in cost cutting mode, what is she doing?
That's fair. I mean, if she gets away, maybe she will wrestle.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying, well, damn it, she ought to be fired. No, she shouldn't. But I'm saying,
how dare you?
I'm saying Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt got cut and she didn't.
Yeah, I guess so.
And if people don't think that's a good point, I'm just. Jay Lucas says it's Halloween. Yeah, almost. Sunday.
Almost
Sunday. I'll have my spooky season on. Okay. He says, can we get a better pay-per-view to come to Columbus? Look, I would love a better pay-per-view to come to Columbus.
I thought we had a pretty good one that was supposed to come to Columbus, but it wasn't.
Yeah, it was not so extreme.
It was not so extreme rules. They just flubbed on the title a little bit. I would like to see get a big, maybe not a big four. I can understand that probably is never going to happen. But didn't we have TLC at one point?
I think so.
I would love to have TLC back.
TLC's off the schedule this year.
I noticed. Speaking of, do you want to just jump into it?
Yes, sir. Let's talk about it. Any final thoughts on Charlotte Flair before we?
I'll be curious to see what happens in the coming weeks if that continues to be a problem with Charlotte Flair on SmackDown. But as far as it being an issue now, nah. If she continues to be a problem in the locker room with women that are on that roster and Sonya Deville in general, okay, then we have a problem that we have to discuss. But if this was just a one-off thing that they just got upset because of the way that things were handled, listen, that happens.
Yeah, that's a big old. It happens.
Like I would probably be upset with it too because that was stupid.
But ladies and gentlemen, if you watch this show regularly, or if you don't,
you should start.
You should right here. Give us a like, give us a share. We appreciate you. Anywho, but what I was saying is if you don't watch the show regularly, or if you do, Jason McCarthy and I tend to be diametrically opposed on AEW, and we tend to be diametrically opposed on morality issues. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
I'm going to ask Mr. McCarthy.
Oh God.
Later on in this show.
Yeah.
Why Dustin Rhodes is on TV.
Oh God.
We're going to talk about it.
Oh boy.
And I want to make something clear.
Let me be frank.
I don't have any issue with Dustin Rhodes being on TV. I don't. Because it was a long time ago, and I don't know the facts of the situation. And if I'm that offended, I can turn my channel.
Mm-hmm.
But Ric Flair can't be used for a year? That's what Mr. McCarthy said. Remember that? So we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. All right, let's talk about the new pay-per-view schedule.
Okay.
For the first time ever, at least that I can recall, WWE released most of their pay-per-view schedule like a year in advance. Stunning. Usually we're guessing.
Yeah.
The only thing we don't know is like February and October. And I'm betting those are Saudi shows.
Probably.
That's what everybody's saying.
Yep.
So I'll see you in February, Goldberg.
And Taker.
I have a complaint about The Undertaker.
I'm sure you do.
I have a complaint.
I'm sure you do.
Should we talk about that right now?
No, we'll save it.
Okay. When should we talk about that?
I mean,
You pick.
we can start it off. We can start Crown Jewel off with that.
Okay. All right. I got a complaint about The Undertaker.
Okay.
I'm going to criticize him. Just wait. Most of the 2022 WWE schedule was released. WrestleMania will once again be a two-night event. Thoughts, Mr. Napper? Because I don't like the two-night WrestleMania.
I do.
Let me tell you why.
Go ahead.
The Super Bowl is one night. The Super Bowl is NFL's day. If you wake up on Super Bowl morning in February, you can flip on and find NFL coverage all day long. Look at him, look at him. Tom Brady's picking his nose. That's what, right? All day long. It's looky there. They have a whole week and then a day. That's what WrestleMania has been and should be. Because I like the idea of one banger of a night. I do. Because consider this. Frankly, people have other things to do. Where you kind of tied your day up with one event before, a big pay-per-view, whatever have you. But then that next day, well, I'm free. You can go out to dinner, you can watch something else, you can whatever you want to do. But that one day is going to WrestleMania, that one day is going to the Super Bowl, that one day is going to that Tyson Fury fight. Where now we got to tie up 2 nights. We got to tie up
and
2.
Really 3.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Really 3 because whatever takeover is taking place that week is probably going to be either ending up on Sunday or Saturday or Friday. Then, so really it's a 3-day week.
And then if you want to be honest about it, you'll have the SmackDown leads into it.
Yep.
And then you'll have the Hall of Fame ceremony at some point.
Yeah. That's the only downside for me is...
Then you couple that with the Raw after WrestleMania. It never stops. And then, NXT's only on Tuesdays.
That was the only downside. Like I enjoyed it for the simple fact that, oh my God, we had so much wrestling to talk about. It was incredible. The downside is we couldn't fit it into one show, it felt like.
I was going to say, we needed part 1 and part 2.
We needed almost a 2-night show. Yeah, I can understand. On one hand, I like it. On the other hand, I don't. I don't like it for the same reasons that you brought up. It's too much. It's way too much. The reason I like it is because it gives everybody else an opportunity to be on the show, and it gives most of the roster an opportunity to show what they can do. I do like that aspect of it. That being said, I wouldn't be against if they took wrestlers that they were planning on maybe using on that night one, put them on TakeOver. Just have a couple matches on TakeOver on Saturday and have it be that. Have TakeOver be the lead up, be night one, and then night two is WrestleMania. I think you can do it that way. And put TakeOver in a freaking arena like they used to do for pay-per-views. Because now it's just been every single pay-per-view TakeOver is in that performance center. Mm-hmm. Put them back in the arenas. If you're going to do takeovers, put them back in the arenas. Let's put some guys that aren't usually on NXT on the show for one night only. And let's go from there. That way you're not having potential of the ceremony, Hall of Fame ceremony running into it, SmackDown running into it. I think that's the way to curb that.
But instead, you're getting 2 more nights, which is 3 or 4 hours a night, and it just there was something always special about, to me, this is the biggest day of the year, that one day, and I didn't even mind the 6, 7, 8 hour show. Like, yes, especially. The first time I can remember thinking, my God, this is too long, was WrestleMania 33. Yeah. Because Taker's gong didn't hit till like midnight, because it went on last, if you remember. That was the one time I thought, this is getting way too, because the pre-show started at like 4, if you remember.
Yep. And maybe that's why they decided to do this, because they realized they were going long.
Well, because in my world, I'd go 7 until about 11:30 if you need that long. That's what because again, as a viewer, we've all had our Super Bowl party, our WrestleMania thing, or even if we're not having a party, we all load up, we all get food that day, we all head out and maybe buy some wings or something. It's tough to have that magic 2 days in a row. It's tough to feel as special to me 2 days in a row. Frankly, this WrestleMania that we just got off of lacked pomp and circumstance like I haven't seen in a decade. There was no added attraction. I mean, the only thing remotely close was Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
And that didn't go well for him. I think they underestimated how many people travel to, because you book Hogan on a Raw in Florida, he's getting cheered.
Right.
But a Mania, where everyone's coming from different places, getting ugly. So it depends. You got to be strategic on how you book the old hogs.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like that. But let's talk about something else I want to discuss.
Okay.
What's going on with Survivor Series?
Whatever do you mean?
Suddenly, to me, this has been one of the most iconic pay-per-views in WWE history. It's always been the big four. WrestleMania, SummerSlam, the Rumble, Survivor Series. Obviously, that's out of order. I'm not that crazy yet. Suddenly, the last few years to me, and we talked about this in our wrestling chat a few weeks ago, and I was going to have this chat next week as we get a little closer to Survivor Series. But then the pay-per-view schedule came out, and I thought, well, it's appropriate to kind of have it now. Is Survivor Series still a big deal to you? Is it still classified as one of the big pay-per-views of the year?
I still see it as a big deal, but is it a big deal? No, not really. And unfortunately, they've kind of muddied that. And it's only because they've really hammered home for the last couple of shows the brand supremacy. At first, it was awesome. I really enjoyed it. Especially when they brought in NXT. Mm-hmm. Then it worked. But now this constant game throughout the show of, oh, who's going to be the brand supremacy winner? Who's going to get bragging rights? If you're going to have this concept, why are we not just bringing back bragging rights? Because what is the purpose of having this kind of format? There's no incentive.
See, I'm okay with a brand supremacy match.
Yeah.
They build an entire pay-per-view on it. Yeah. I would do the traditional. I'm old school. I'd go back to nothing but 5-on-5 matches. But I understand that's not everybody wants to see that. So what I would do is I would do what they used to do before they got obsessed with brand supremacy these last 4 to 5 years, which is they would do one or maybe two if you count the women. One Team Raw versus Team SmackDown. 5-on-5 traditional, old school. And I'm okay with that for the old school nostalgic part of it. But the problem with this brand supremacy, especially these last few years, and here's the biggest logical fallacy, is it always comes like 3 weeks after the draft.
Yeah, that's been the biggest issue for the last this year and 2 years.
How is anybody loyal to any brand when it's always been...
And they're not even promoting it right now. It's in a month. Did you see any promotion for it on Monday?
No. Because
did you see any promotion for it on Friday?
No,
then what the hell are we doing?
They're still... Because what they're doing, and Becky Lynch alluded to it, unless that was an off-the-cuff line, which maybe it was.
It probably was.
But Becky Lynch said, I'll see one of you at Survivor Series. Which assuming that was a in the script line, because everybody acted like Becky behaved way better than Charlotte and kept to the script, right?
Yeah.
Then that means they're putting on another brand supremacy deal where Becky faces, I assume it's going to be Charlotte, but we'll see.
I would assume so.
Because you said last night when we were watching Raw, you said, well, why isn't Edge out here to do this whole thing, to get the shot for the belt?
Spoiler, Seth got it.
Yeah, we'll get there. But I think that's because they're not going to do this match at Survivor Series. And they want to save Edge for big moments, maybe at Survivor Series, maybe at the Rumble. My point being is Edge is like Lesnar. He ain't working a whole lot of TVs as far as wrestling goes.
Yeah. And
so I think they're doing this match in the next week or two. I don't think it happens at Survivor Series.
I think it happens next week.
I don't know if they announced it or not. I watched Raw, but I was doing some other things while I was doing it.
I don't believe they announced it. I just think they announced the Becky versus Bianca match. I don't think they announced this one, though.
So I personally think that they're not doing this at Survivor Series, which is why they didn't have Edge jump in line, because you're going to...
Why Seth? He lost the match. At least give it to somebody who either won or has...
I was rooting for Kevin Owens.
I was rooting for Finn.
I thought...
And partially Ray.
I thought any of the three besides Seth...
Yeah, so do I.
No offense to Seth, but he's the one that's misused the least.
Yeah.
Like, Seth Rollins has had a good career thus far in WWE.
He's had a 5-star match the last 5 pay-per-views.
And so
he's had a big... he's faced Edge how many times now? You can't get more high profile. You can barely get more high profile than that.
It would take an Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Rock to get any Cena to get any further than that.
A certain dead man, if you will.
So but is Survivor Series? Is it still anywhere near what it was? Because it feels like Money in the Bank's now the big four. They're on stadiums.
I actually believe that.
They're on stadiums and all those things. So, my question to you is, does it still matter?
I think it still matters. The problem is they've got to make it feel like it matters. And right now, they're doing a terrible job of that.
Well, how do you fix that?
Cut the brand supremacy bullcrap.
So is Money in the Bank a bigger deal to you?
Yes.
What's your big four right now?
Well, Mania, obviously. Mm-hmm. I do think Money in the Bank is a big four. SummerSlam, and then... That's a good question. Because I don't know what I would place. Because right now it's what? It's Mania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Rumble. That's the one I was forgetting. Rumble.
That's always been the big four. But to me, I feel like right now you got to switch out Survivor Series and Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Because Money in the Bank's going to be in a stadium. They're going to be in Vegas at the brand new.
Well, and the other thing to keep in mind is look at the dates. They're putting Survivor Series on a Saturday.
Mm-hmm. They're doing more Saturday pay-per-views because they said they think it helps attendance because people want to go out.
Oh, I definitely agree with
night,
that.
Party on.
But it is kind of interesting that Survivor Series is one of those pay-per-views.
I agree with you. But it is what it is. What do you think? Do you still consider Survivor Series as we approach Survivor Series season one of the big four in recent years? It certainly lacked a luster to me. I think the last big time moment I remember going, wow, that's amazing, was Sting debuting at WWE a few years ago. I think it was 2016, 17.
And that's the other thing that's really kind of been the issue with Survivor Series is there's been no real. I can't remember the last real surprise of Survivor Series like that. That was relegated for big moments. I couldn't tell you the last big moment that happened in a Survivor Series. The only one that I can think of is the NXT invasion.
Well, because it used to
and like Keith Lee staring down Roman.
It used to be back when Vince had a long-term plan. Because it used to always be he had a very long-term plan that would be at least 6 months in advance, really, as far as the big stuff goes. It used to be that Survivor Series, we didn't do it this way, but if you look at all the old stuff, and I watched all the time, it always was starting to lay the groundwork for Mania.
Right.
It was always starting to hint at this is what you're getting.
It laid the pavement for the road to WrestleMania, and then Rumble kicked it off.
Rumble drove on it. Yeah, my man. He's dead sexy, ladies and gentlemen. He's dead sexy. Don't slide in his DMs. Lauren will be pissed.
Very.
So, but that's all right. She'll slide in your DMs. That's fine.
Hey.
Lauren, if you're watching, slide in my man DM right now. Go ahead. Text him something dirty. Anywho. Yeah, I just...
I get a text now, you're in trouble.
Why would I be in trouble?
I don't know.
I'm trying to help you, don't you? We'll talk.
Okay.
I just don't... I don't view Survivor Series in the same way I used to.
I don't either. I still think...
It's still a Thanksgiving tradition. I still look forward to
Right. I think that's why it still is considered a Big Four, because, I mean, it's such tradition that it's hard to say that it's not a Big Four.
But is it a case of what do you consider to be the A show, Raw or SmackDown?
SmackDown.
See, I know it is, but in my head, Monday Night Raw is still bigger.
Because it's tradition.
It's because that's the way it's been.
Yeah.
And that's the way it's going to be in my world.
And it's the longer running show.
It's the longest running weekly episodic television show in history, actually.
Okay, Mr. Prompt Reader.
The second longest running weekly episodic television show in history is SmackDown.
I thought it was The Simpsons.
Nope, SmackDown has passed them as far as overall episodes.
Yes.
The third is the Simpsons. I think fourth is like Gunsmoke or something, that old western. That was
Either
around.
Gunsmoke or MASH.
I think Gunsmoke and then MASH.
Is it?
And then I think six is like 2.5 Men because it was on forever, pre and post Charlie Sheen.
What about Seinfeld?
That's got to be right there. It's got to be right there. Anywho, that's been
that's been weekly televised television.
I'll tell you what's making a run.
What?
And they're not popular anymore, but they're still on. Pawn Stars.
Yeah.
Pawn Stars has been on a long time.
Long time.
They're not popular anymore, but
Yeah.
they're still a nice staple for history.
Oh wait, Law and Order's got to be up there somewhere.
Law and Order's big too. They're another one not nearly as popular as they used to be,
But they're still
it's
on?
A staple. Yeah, So Law and Order, Pawn Stars.
They were on long enough. I don't remember his name, but the one guy to lose his hair.
Yeah.
That shows you how long on TV they are.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
Been a long time. All right.
You want to yell now?
You want to?
Go ahead.
About what? What do you mean yell about?
Well, you said you had something to get off your chest about your good guy.
Oh.
It's time for Crown Jewel, unless
All
you
right.
got something else to talk about with the pay-per-view.
All right. So we'll talk about Survivor Series more as obviously we get going.
And we'll ask McCarthy.
We will ask McCarthy.
He should be
But
here
before
soon.
we take our first break, did you see that Renee Paquette, is that her actual last name?
Yes.
Renee Young is what I still call it because I don't know how to pronounce that last name.
I mean, eventually it'll be probably Moxley.
So Renee Moxalot, Renee Paquette, she criticized The Undertaker for
Yes, she
doing his appearance, because he appeared in Saudi Arabia the day before Crown Jewel, because he introduced, and I'm not joking, people, Pitbull, Mr. Worldwide, Mr. 305, Trackhouse owner, Trackhouse Racing owner,
Yeah.
Pitbull. Just for you red flagites there. Red flagites.
Red flag
That's
guys.
a little too close to a slur.
Yeah.
So, Flagstaff.
Flagstaff. That works.
So, she criticized because she said pretty much, why can't an over-the-top babyface do that? And I don't want to see The Undertaker in full Undertaker garb and doing all that, because he wore the whole nine.
I saw the video.
Yeah. Hey, hate to say it. She's right.
Yeah.
She's right.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed in The Undertaker. And I've stood by The Undertaker through a lot of things, and I will continue, of course. But I've stood by him through controversial political statements and donations, controversial T-shirts that for some reason the production company WWE didn't have the balls to ask him to change. That was always baffling me watching the last ride. I was like, why didn't they ask him to change his shirt no matter how you feel? But they're like, well, we're not telling Mark to change his shirt.
No.
He can wear whatever he wants. I agree, because it's beneath him. And I don't mean, can The Undertaker, as The Undertaker, go introduce Pitbull? Sure he can. But don't do the entire gimmick with it.
And not even so much that on a WWE program.
Well, I have an issue with he was so protective of this character.
Yeah.
I understand the times have changed, and I truly do get that.
And honestly, he has too.
And I don't, and whether I like that or not, I know it's the truth. But I'm mad at him about it, because if that character is that iconic and you work so hard to protect it, then why are you now selling it out? If you want to appear, if Pitbull for some reason thinks Undertaker's the big deal, then go appear as yourself / the American Badass, which is not that far off. But to wear the black hat and the trench coat and the eyeliner and the full Undertaker garb and do that, it's like, he said recently the reason that he's not going to get back in the ring, which I don't buy, as you know. I believe he's telling the truth, but I think there's going to come a time where he gets back in the ring. Is because he doesn't want to cheapen his legacy or the legacy of that character. I don't know about you, Napper, because you're another big fan of The Undertaker. I have an unhealthy obsession. But I would rather see him cheapen it because he was out there trying too hard to be something he's not, than to just sell out to Pitbull and not pretty much make a mockery of the whole character. Again, my issue is this. It's not that Mark Calloway can't go appear and even be called The Undertaker as he shows up. It's that to do the entrance and the hat and the guy liner and the coat, and he says the reason he's not going to wrestle again is because he doesn't want to make a mockery of the legacy or cheapen the character. I would rather you cheapen it by doing what you love to do and trying to help the product than you have spent the better part of your retirement criticizing the product, selling out your character, and because no matter what, even if he goes in there and quote-unquote embarrass himself, in the ring, and I don't believe he was at that level. Like, yes, he was certainly lost a step, but the only match that he should be embarrassed by is what happened with Goldberg, and that was just a perfect cluster. Even, because I don't even think he should be embarrassed by what happened with Roman. Was it his best showing? Absolutely not. But there was only one horrible spot really in that match, and that was the Tombstone reversal that failed. I think, and maybe I'm wrong here, but I think it would be more respectful of The Undertaker to get back to somehow helping the product in or out of the ring, instead of I'm gonna in a roundabout way call the WWE product today soft, and I'm gonna I missed when men were men and things of that nature. The things he said on Rogan's podcast about 10 months ago now. I mean, it's been a while. And then I'm going to go out because, and you heard him say this week because he did some media for the New Day movie, that he doesn't want to wrestle again not because he doesn't want to, I should say, but because he feels like he can't live up to that legacy anymore. And that's respectful, that's fine. But then you run right out and you go to Saudi Arabia to introduce Pitbull in your full Undertaker garb, the character that you're trying so hard to make sure that we don't make a mockery of. Then what are you doing? Because he didn't we can say the Undertaker's here and he shows up in a ball cap and whatever. That's fine. He did the full-fledged entrance. He had the guy liner on. He did the voice, the whole nine. That's making a mockery of it. I would rather him embarrass himself in the ring by trying to help the product than to fly to Saudi Arabia to Pitbull? I'd rather see you embarrass yourself in the ring because at least you're helping. Because lately, in the last year, and I love this guy. I mean, I would die for him, and I don't even know him. Well, I know him, he doesn't know me. But in the last year, he's done nothing but criticize the product. Very gingerly, but still. He's done nothing but criticize the brand, today's culture, which I'm sorry for Dark Side of the Ring producers, it's probably not going to make a good season someday down the line. And he's done nothing but slowly cheapen himself. I can deal with controversial political statements, controversial clothing, whatever. I don't care. You want to know why? It's not because I agree or disagree. That's not anyone's business. It's because this is America, and you're entitled to your opinion. And I think we should get back to being allowed to have that, whether it's controversial or not. But what I cannot deal with, and what I'm truly embarrassed by for him, is you say you don't want to cheapen the character or hurt your legacy, and that's why you're going to stay out of the ring?
Right.
I would rather you get in the ring and try.
Yeah.
I'd rather you get in the ring and... because I thought...
I just thought it was weird.
Like, and then on top of that, if you were over there and it was a nice big thing for WWE anyway as an ambassador and you're going to be on the Saudi show anyway, I guess, whatever. But then you're not even at Crown Jewel. And no, I wasn't delusional and thought he was going to wrestle. But honest to God, the whole Mansoor Mustafa Ali kind of called for, I was like, that at a certain point there, did you feel like he was going to show up?
I felt like he was going to show up in the Seth and Edge match for a minute.
Like, it just...
for whatever reason, I thought he was about to, show up in the middle of that ring and choke slam Seth and save Edge or something.
And then he doesn't appear at Saudi to help the product. He calls it soft. Again, that was months ago, but still.
Yeah.
You still work for the company on a Legends deal at the very least.
Right.
So, to me, he's doing a bigger disservice by doing these things than he is continuing to wrestle.
Right.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
I know you're a big Taker guy.
I agree with it.
Would you rather him struggle and not literally, but kind of kill himself in the ring than to see this? I don't know. He's not quite Bret Hart bad, but lately it's been a bitter, jaded, or not. At least until I come off. He might not be bitter at all, but it's came off. I missed my day.
Well, and the biggest thing for me was, like I said, it would be one thing, like, if you're at a Dodgers game or, you're at the World Series and you're introducing somebody as the Undertaker. Okay, that's one thing. Like, doing it as a gig for somebody else.
And I respect it because you had to be called the Undertaker even if he's in a ball cap and shorts, because most people go, Mark Calloway who?
Yeah. And, like, if Ric Flair goes to the World Series and, throws out the first pitch, I guarantee he's wearing the robes and everything like that. Same thing with Undertaker. If you're going to gigs like that and, like, giving your services as the Undertaker for gigs like that, that's one thing. But when you're on a WWE product introducing Pitbull, I almost would have preferred you be legend up where, you're not in full gear and, like you said, you're in the whole garb, whole nine, and you're introducing Pitbull.
Yeah, like you did the intro.
Like, no disrespect to Pitbull, but it's Pitbull.
Right.
Why?
I don't.
Why does Pitbull get the Undertaker treatment? I don't understand that.
I don't get it, and like I said, I think it's beneath him.
I do too.
Because he worked so hard to preserve that. And no, none of us ever thought he was dead. I don't really think he's dead at all. I never have.
He might be now.
But
He really might be.
We all respected the fact that he busted his ass to keep kayfabe.
Yeah. And now he's going on the completely other side of the spectrum.
And it's one thing to not keep kayfabe anymore and appears the Undertaker on the Joe Rogan podcast. I get it. That's who you are. But then to cheapen and be in full character for Pitbull,
and that's the problem. Like, you decided to not be in character for so many of these other things. Why were you in character here?
Yeah, like and then like I said,
even if you just did the voice and had a ball cap on, cool.
Yeah, I thought, well, maybe at least he'll show up, because I thought, well, he's going to show Crown Jewel then, certainly.
And again, it doesn't make sense because it's Pitbull. If this was Johnny Cash or, I don't know, somebody else, somebody that fit the brand of The Undertaker.
Well, frankly, the only person out there right now, like, there's two people out there that would fit it because we know he actually likes them. Metallica and Kid Rock. Those are the only two people I can like. Makes sense.
It makes sense.
Because he likes them and he has used them.
So apparently The Undertaker likes to party. Who knew?
Like, Mr. 305.
Mr. 305.
I'm disappointed in that. And if he's going to stay out of the ring, he's earning that.
I'm not so much disappointed. I'm just confused.
No, I'm disappointed.
I get it.
I'm atrociously disappointed because I can deal with controversial political opinions. I can deal with controversial shirts, whatever. He's entitled to his view. Everybody is. We need to get back to realizing that.
Yeah.
I truly believe that. Whether it's
I agree.
controversial or not, I believe that. Right?
I mean, we have McCarthy on this show, and we can't stand his views.
I know. He's just absolutely hard left wing.
Saying it now before he yells at us later.
But we respect him so much, and so my thing is, if you're not going to get back in the ring because you don't want to, and I quote, pretty much cheapen the character.
Yeah. Then
put down everything to do with the at least
with the character.
Yeah, but just
like you said. It would have been better if he was an American badass.
Yeah, because that makes sense. Because that was pretty much just the human side of Undertaker. Whatever, that's fine. But I am just,
or even the character that showed up against AJ Styles, like that version of the Undertaker.
I just am so.
Like he went full back to Last Outlaw Undertaker.
He did the entrance, the whole nine.
McCarthy said that's egregious.
I just don't understand. If you're not going to get back in the ring because you don't want to cheapen the character, that's fine. Which I think is garbage anyway because you can't cheapen it.
Nope.
But you can cheapen it by you're sitting back and you're criticizing the product and you're doing this and you're doing that. And what are you helping to promote the brand and the product now? How are you making and doing your best to help this be better? Because right now this ain't it.
Yep.
And hopefully, in my world, do I want to see him back in the ring? Sure I do, because I think he deserves to have one more match in front of people. That's my only real desire, as far as besides being a mark for him. I just don't think it's. I just don't think it's.
You're a mark for Mark?
Absolutely. I just don't think it's right that his last match was in front of nobody.
Yeah.
just don't.
We'll see.
So with that, let's take a quick break. When we come back, I believe Mr. McCarthy will be on, and it's going to get real interesting real fast.
If we have to. But yes, that is absolutely correct. So we will be right back at the earliest convenience.
Earliest convenience.
Oh, hey there, Bruiser Nation. Raise those anchors and get ready to wear the official merch of Bruiser Nation Productions. Visit bruisernationproductions.kincustom.com and show the world your love of the Bruiser Nation as you go about your day in style. We have Bruise Cruise podcast and To the Turnbuckle tees, hoodies, jackets, shoes, bags, and even pillows. You heard that right. Pillows. That's bruisernationproductions.kincustom.com. Once again, bruisernationproductions.kincustom.com. And remember, Bruiser Nation, stay good, because I'm always good.
Oh my God, there's another person.
Oh my God.
I would like to know. Welcome back, everybody, to the Turnbuckle right here on Heel Turn Wrestling, presented by Bruiser Nation Productions. And as you can see, our favorite socialist has shown up.
Wow. Wow, socialist. This is
Our favorite
feel
socialist
attacked.
has shown up. AOC's biggest fan,
Now, see,
Jason
that's a
Mad Daddy McCarthy. McCarthy, how are you, buddy?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing a lot better now with Baldwin. I'm doing great.
A lot of people are.
Doing great.
I think there might be, I hope I don't get crucified for this one, but I think there might be homeless people that are doing better than Alec Baldwin right now.
Yeah. He was like that. He was like that old Bugs Bunny, you know, sitting at the bar. You know what I'm talking about? Where he's just kind of slumped. Yeah, that whole thing. Yeah, that must have been Alabama. Oh, but after they said cut. Anywho, in all seriousness, horrible tragedy. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the victims and the family. That really did suck, and I feel bad for Alec Baldwin, truthfully, because like, damn, what'd you do? What'd you do?
Keep going. It's fine.
All
I
right.
think I hung up on McCarthy.
All right, that's fine. That's fine. Bye-bye, McCarthy. All right,
Oh, wait, no, there he is.
Crown Jewel.
thought I-
Crown Jewel. Roman Reigns defeated Brock Lesnar. McCarthy, the tribal chief, the man I won't acknowledge. And I won't acknowledge him like Joe Biden doesn't like to refer to the last president. Calls him the former guy. Yeah.
I feel like they all do that now.
So, I don't want to acknowledge Roman Reigns. I'm not going to ever. So,
You just said his name, though. Doesn't that count?
that's his name.
Acknowledge
But I'm not gonna
him,
Acknowledge him as like the best in the world, even though he's better than CM Punk is now.
Fair.
Said it. Mr. McCarthy, thoughts on this match, and when the hell is Roman Reigns going to get beat?
WrestleMania, probably. And no, I thought this match was a banger, man. It told one hell of a story. They went at it, and I think they did it right as far as the Usos getting involved, because it keeps the mystique of Brock Lesnar, which is very hard to lose in the first place. But even though Roman Reigns has been as dominant as he has been, it's almost the only way that Roman can beat him right now, because it's Brock Lesnar. He's always jacked, but I feel like he's in the best shape of his life. And he was firing on all cylinders against Roman, and Roman was too. They told a great, pro wrestling story. I was I was impressed. I wasn't surprised that those two would tell such a story, but I was impressed with how well it turned out. Actually, and to be honest, as we go further into this, I was impressed with the whole show. I think that might have been the best crown jewel they've ever had, which doesn't say a lot with some of the bad ones they had, but that was by far the best crown jewel that they've had. And we all tied, by the way, in our predictions. 6-6-6.
Look, I do. I realize very much so that we all tied. There were some predictions that I got right and I got wrong, which is stunning to me. When have I ever been wrong? Mr. Napper.
Hi.
Did the right guy win this one? And McCarthy, I'm just going to tease you here a little bit. Later on in this show, we're probably going to argue.
That's fair.
Looking forward to this. Looking forward to this.
Did the right guy win? Absolutely, the right guy won. The right guy won.
Who can beat Roman Reigns? Because guess
Brock
what?
Lesnar.
You just lost to him.
So he's Brock
WrestleMania.
Lesnar. He can get another opportunity.
Because as always, Dwayne is apparently too busy
Too busy.
to come on in for Survivor Series or Mania.
Hello.
I'm Dwayne Johnson.
It's too hard. I can't do it.
Are we getting Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns again at WrestleMania?
I don't think WrestleMania. I think he's a little bit off on the date on that one. I predict Rumble.
Or next Saudi show in February?
That too. That could work. I really hope not, but yeah. I think it's going to happen at Rumble. I don't think they're going to keep Brock off for that long. Obviously, they can't really use him in this. I think they.
Well, he was suspended Friday night. Let's talk about that a little bit for a second.
Right.
He was suspended Friday night after kicking ass.
After kicking some ass.
My Lord, is he the strongest guy in the world? I mean, he was stiff-shotting everybody. Adam Pearce lost his seam in his pants. He was.
He's lucky he didn't lose his pants.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, I think he took more than an F5. I think he took an F20.
That's true. Suplex City became Thigh Meat City real quick. Anywho, let's talk about that. He got suspended.
Yeah.
When is Brock Lesnar back on television after? I'll start with you, and then let's ask McCarthy that same question. When do we see Brock Lesnar? When does the suspension, kayfabe-wise, end?
I bet it ends the week after Survivor Series. Because I think something's going to happen at Survivor Series that makes you question whether or not Brock is coming back. And then the week after Survivor Series, we get Brock back. I think it's just that simple.
I think it goes a little longer. I think it's.
I can see it.
I think he's brought back after the day one pay-per-view on January 1st, because I think he'll be back for the Rumble. But I don't see him before then.
The only problem is they can't wait too long. And I feel like at this point, they've already kind of teased us with the breakup.
Well, they have to wait a while if they want Roman to approach Brock's record as Universal Champion.
True. How many days do you have left?
A little less than 100.
Yeah, because he was at like 4.
He was at 416, 417 the day he beat Brock.
Yeah.
So we're another.
Brock's at what, 500?
It's like 503 maybe.
So yeah, he's got to get about 90 to 80. So that's 3 months at least.
So you're talking Rumble.
Yeah. Probably.
Mr. McCarthy, when will we see Brock Lesnar again?
I mean, I think you're pretty close with prior to the Rumble, just to get people excited for him being in the Rumble. But as far as an in-ring return, it's definitely the Royal Rumble. Mm-hmm. That way he can win the Royal Rumble again and wrestle Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, because there's money to be made with Brock and Roman 3.
Has Brock ever won the Rumble?
The biggest match right now.
Yeah, he won.
Didn't he win the title in the Rumble?
No, he defended it.
Well, that's true. But he probably did win one. He's been around for 20 years.
He might have.
Isn't that crazy to say? Brock Lesnar's been around for like 20 years.
Well, I was just like, I'm thinking, the thing that made me laugh about that whole match, when's the last time, realistically, maybe aside from the Seth thing where he got cashed in on, when's the last time Brock Lesnar got screwed? I don't remember a match in recent history where Brock Lesnar gets screwed over.
Yeah.
That was kind of interesting to watch.
But I felt like it set the seed for Roman and Paul breaking up.
Yeah, oh, it did, for sure.
And Paul coming on home.
For sure.
Coming on home to his beast in his arms. I hope Paul leaps up in the arms.
Brock Lesnar won the 2003 Royal Rumble.
That's what I thought, and I wasn't sure. All right.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens with Brock Lesnar. We'll talk a little bit more about him as the show goes on. Any final thoughts before we move on? All right, boys.
Oh, boy.
Goldberg defeated Bobby Lashley. He speared him. I was stunned when the spear and the jackhammer was hit, and he didn't go for the pin because I said, spear, jackhammer. I'm sure you said it too. Because you thought that the same thing I did.
Bogey.
And you pictured my smiling face, didn't you?
I did. And then he stopped, and I was like, uh-oh.
I said, this is different. Okay.
Uh-oh. Logi's not happy
I was
anymore.
like, no, where's the ball game? Where's the ball game? No ellipses. Ball game.
We went out of order. We went spear, jackhammer, spear, ball game.
So.
Actually, spear, jackhammer, kendo stick shots, then spear, then ball game.
So he and Bobby Lashley, again, I think
They beat the crap out of each other.
I think they surpassed very low expectations. I really do. I thought Goldberg redeemed himself from a bad showing at SummerSlam. He sold that knee like hell, which isn't, I don't know how much is selling, to be honest with you, because he does have a legitimate knee injury. I think it happened before SummerSlam in a training process. He does need surgery on it. But I thought he did a pretty good job by his standards, much better in SummerSlam. And I thought it did enough. They shouldn't ever book this match. They shouldn't ever book part 2. We've established that. But they did enough to make Goldberg still look like a big deal and could still beat anybody. And then they did enough to protect Lashley after selling the spear off the ramp for a very short time. And then he gets up and stumbles out. But I mean, the fact that he was able to do so is incredible. McCarthy, I want your thoughts. What did you think of the big spear? What did you think of the match? Lay it on me.
Completely exceeded my expectations, and I know you expect me to be angry, but I'm not. This gave Goldberg the mystique that he needs back. It didn't hurt Lashley because falls count anywhere, no holds barred. They used a lot of weapons. They beat the hell out of each other. By far the best match they've had together. I think everything clicked. This is another reason why Crown Jewel was so good. Because, there's probably one half, including Logan, you, sir, that thought Goldberg was going to win. And then there was the other half, like me and Travis, that thought Lashley was going to win. And we were all kind of surprised because after a while, you weren't really sure. They were just beating the living hell out of each other. And these are the you can't do no holds barred every time Goldberg's in the ring now because that'll get old fast. But I think they need to focus more on this type of brawling for him. It makes, at his age, it makes his matches way more entertaining because it can hide everything that I've complained about for years. Plus you add his age into it and it hides all of those things. This is one of those times where I'm going to say this match very well may have been better than Jericho and Goldberg at Bad Blood all those years ago. I hold that match in high esteem.
Well, Goldberg still got it. That's what was proven here. That's what was proven here. Damn it, McCarthy, you were wrong. Look, I did. I thought it surpassed low expectations, and I thought it did enough to keep Lashley looking strong. Again, do I think they should have put the match in the first place? No, especially not without a belt, because, what's the point? And you can say, well, I got vengeance on Lashley. I was glad they didn't put Gage in there.
Yeah, because I saw reports he was there. It's like, oh, goody. Here comes Daddy's boy.
Look, I want to know what your thoughts are, Napper, on this match, and then I want you to answer a question with me.
Okay.
What's next for Goldberg? Because obviously that wasn't his last match, I would
No.
assume.
No.
So what's next for him? Does he continue to try to challenge for the WWE Championship, the one title that's eluded him? I'm not saying, and I want to clarify this, because I know your comment and everyone else's comment will be, well, retire, damn it. We know that's not happening. Not right now, dude. So it's not happening. I want your thoughts on what's going to happen with Goldberg, not what should happen, because I know I've got those thoughts quickly. And same to you, McCarthy, because I'm going to come to you with that same question. I know I know what you want to happen. What do you think is going to happen? What's next for Goldberg, Napper, and what do you think of this match?
I love this match. Same reason you guys did. I thought it did everything that I thought should happen. Maybe minus the Lashley getting the win that I thought was going to happen. But like you guys have pointed out, it did enough. It did enough to give, like McCarthy said, the mystique back of that Goldberg. The ruthless aggression of Goldberg. I know, different era. Just kidding. But it also made Bobby Lashley look pretty strong. I mean, you take that kind of spear and get up a little bit afterwards, you're looking pretty good. I do worry that maybe it was a little bit of a no-sell because he did get up a little bit quick. But at the end of the day, you still got to make Bobby Lashley look strong. I thought they still did that in every moment of this match. And like you guys said, it met the low standard by the end of the week that we all had for this match. Because the more it went on, the less we thought about this match. So they still got us to think about it and left us with a lasting impression. Job well done. What's next for Goldberg? It almost has to be the WWE Championship if it's eluded him. Because, like, I'm trying to think. You've already put him with Drew. You've put him with Bobby now. You put him with Brock. Like, I'm trying to think of guys that match up to his stature and, like, his ability. There's not very many. The only other one that I can think, and it would maybe be a good match, the only one I can think of is Big E. That would be it. As far as guys that are that build that are in the company.
When do we see him again, Goldberg?
Probably not till that February Saudi show. Probably. You could maybe see him at Mania. But I would probably bet money that it's probably going to be either.
Would they book him on the Rumble again for the second consecutive year? He did the Rumble with McIntyre.
If Brock's in it, no. I don't think so. Because you don't want those two clashing for unnecessary reasons. I know they put people in the Rumble to pop it up and oh my God, Brock Lesnar and
because it's
Goldberg.
It's a simple way to start a feud with whomever.
Right, it is.
You go Big E eliminated me, son of a.
But if Brock Lesnar is your end goal and they go with what McCarthy said and have Brock win it, you don't want people. I mean, it would add to the oh my God, he beat Goldberg to win the Rumble, but it would feel like it's unnecessary, especially if you're not going to have Big E in there.
Well,
because
do we see him on the Rumble card?
No, I think his matches are done for the year.
Well, of course that would be next year.
Oh yeah, that is true.
I know they all run together on you.
Yeah, they do. I still don't think so. I think I'm right. I think it's going to be that first Saudi show.
Mr. McCarthy, what's next for Goldberg, and when do we see him again?
We can't hear you, buddy. McCarthy, we can't hear you.
Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
He might be on the phone.
Oops, there it goes. Sorry, I had to mute. My headphones are being stupid. So I think the Royal Rumble is a good place for Goldberg. And I don't think in the Rumble itself. I think maybe a match with Big E, or maybe even in Xavier Woods, even though Woods is on SmackDown. He needs to be with people that can go at this point, because we've seen him with the big muscle guys, and Big E is a big muscle guy, but Big E's a different animal. Sometimes when you see Goldberg in these feuds with guys that can go and can be kind of funny, it brings something different out of Goldberg as far as promos go. Some of his best promos are against guys that can kind of be funny. They can bring things out of him. And I think that's a good way to go with him. It gives Big E another notch on his belt. And then it gives Goldberg a very good opponent to continue to look strong, so that we keep that mystique that we've been talking about.
Plus, it gives him a chance to go heel. Gives him a chance for his last run to maybe step out of that I'm the superhero kind of role and go into a more heelish kind of role, which I think would be interesting.
I agree. I think that he should shift from the full-fledged babyface to at least a tweener that leans heel, like he was going to do with Roman. It was obvious because they didn't want the match, but it was obvious because that was back when Vince wouldn't turn Roman. Remember?
That's the only other one. I forgot about Roman. That would be the only other one that I can think of.
And so I wanted to see where Goldberg was going to go, because he was acting pretty heelish during that confrontation on SmackDown the night after he beat Bray Wyatt, if you recall. So I would love to see not Goldberg get away completely from being, enough to still warrant the Goldberg chance, kind of, but I would love to see him tap into a different side before he hangs it up.
I mean, he kind of did. He threatened to kill Bobby Lashley. Like, you can't go back to, I'm a hero to the kids and stuff like that. You threatened to kill Bobby Lashley. Granted, it was for your son, but you threatened to rip out his soul.
But he was right back to being a hero for the kids after the match.
Yeah.
He did that group hug with the kids at the front row there.
Darn Goldberg.
We'll see what happens. Goldberg, damn hero. All right, so Zelina Vega overcame Doudrop to become the first ever Queen's Crown tournament winner.
Did it go more than 3 minutes?
I don't remember.
I don't either.
I don't remember.
I think it went 6.
They got 6 minutes in a country that hates them.
And 3 minutes in a country that loves them.
So, I love them all right. So, Mr. Napper, thoughts on this? Right? Did the right gal go over?
I don't think either way you would have missed. I was a little bit shocked that they gave it to Zelina. I will say I do think the right one went over, because they've kind of pushed Doudrop to the moon at this point. Not so much that she's probably going to vie for a championship anytime soon, but like they've been giving her pretty high profile spots on Raw for the last couple weeks. Like, she's gotten a lot of attention. Zelina, not so much. Not on SmackDown. And let's be honest, when she first came back after getting fired, and then after her husband gets fired, it wasn't looking good. It wasn't looking good at all. So I am very happy that they gave it to somebody that is... This was the original purpose of these kinds of tournaments, was to give somebody that's not been given the spotlight a spotlight. And so, yeah, they accomplished that goal. They gave it to Zelina Vega, who has been losing quite often for the last couple weeks, months on SmackDown. Now she's queen. Now we can kind of roll with this and see where it goes. I just hope that we don't go the route of King Corbin and turn her into Gigantic Joke, because she's better than that. Honestly, Corbin was too. But they turned him into a Gigantic Joke. I really hope they don't do the same thing to Zelina. They've been doing it a lot with King of the Rings. Hopefully they change that with the women.
Well, at least he's happy now. McCarthy, thoughts on this? Did the right girl go over?
Oh, for sure. I think this is tailor-made for Zelina Vega, especially if you were going to have a face in Xavier Woods win the Kingdom. It gives us the nice little yin and yang to the king and queens of the WWE right now. And, yeah, they've kind of pushed Dewdrop a lot, but we really don't know what she can do on the microphone. We know what Zelina can do. The WWE officials know what Zelina can do on the microphone. And the quickest way to fail as the king of the ring is if you can't talk. That's a big part of it. It always has been, even more so after Stone Cold Steve Austin, with his 316 coming to life when he won the King of the Ring. But you look, if Booker T couldn't talk the way he could talk, would he have had that good of a run as King of the Ring? Probably not. Corbin got annoying, and because of the gimmick he was given, and it turned into comedy, but he's never been the best promo guy. He's better when he's ruthless and mean, not joking around like he is now, or was kind of joking around too as King of the Ring. But some of the best Kings of the Rings are the full package. Look at Brock, you look at Kurt, you look at Booker T, you look at, everybody that did something with the gimmick could at least cut a good promo. Some better than others, but most of them that did something with the gimmick can cut a good promo.
All hail King Booker!
The Macho King.
Macho King. Two of my favorites.
King Harley.
Speaking of, since we're talking about how she can talk, since we don't have it on the rundown, what did you think of her promo on Monday? I thought it was a little weird. I didn't like it. I get what she was going for, but the whole changing to regal and I can talk like this. No, please don't.
I was going to say I really hope that that was just trying something.
I hope so too, because it was cringy as hell to me.
Well, McCarthy, what do you think?
I think it was a little bit cringy. It leaned a little too far into the comedy of it, which I don't think. Xavier Woods being funny, we expect. Selena Vega's always been serious when she's cut. I don't need to see some weird tone to her voice or a regal tone to her voice, if you will. I want to hear Zelina Vega, as she has always talked, just with a higher authority, because she won the Queen. I'm calling it the Queen of the Ring. I don't care what they call it. But since she's the Queen of the Ring, she just needs to be herself. She doesn't. Could she be funny? Probably, but I don't know.
If she makes fun of peasants, and that's
funny.
That's
different.
That's different.
I can see where they're trying to lean into a little bit William Regal, but a little too much comedy. Just let her be William Regal.
She definitely went a little too full blown Regal. Damn, when did she turn British?
Next week she'll break out the power of the punch.
Yes.
Xavier Woods was crowned the King of the Ring after defeating Finn Balor. Wrong. I thought the wrong guy won.
I do too.
I thought the wrong guy won. Finn went from an eyelash, a cat hair, within beating Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, to he loses to the weakest member of the New Day. I don't like it. McCarthy, thoughts?
The right guy won. Xavier Woods may be perceived as the weakest guy of the New Day, but he hasn't gotten his shot yet. Finn Balor, like we saw on Monday, can hop into the title picture whenever he wants. He doesn't need the King of the Ring. Like Travis said when we started talking about these, this tournament has always been about getting you to that next level. Not, oh, hey, you used to be a world champion. Let's make you King of the Ring. Does it work sometimes? No. King Corbin's a great example of it not working. But this is not a tournament that has ever been designed for someone that's already been to the top of the mountain to get back to the top of the mountain. That's what the Royal Rumble's do.
He got to the top of the
King of the
mountain
Ring
for a day and then fell the hell off of it.
But he did win the NXT Championship back, and he's been in the Universal Championship match. He just got an opportunity to be in the WWE Championship match.
It makes no earthly sense. No earthly sense. The only reason he didn't beat Roman Reigns is because John Cena turned heel and snapped the rope. It makes no earthly sense that he comes an eyelash within ending the tribal chief. If anything, he looked like more believable than Brock did.
Yeah, he really did.
And then he loses to Xavier Woods, and people say, well, it's the demon.
The demon didn't lose yet.
Just no,
He did, but
look, I understand where you're coming from. The reality is, and this sucks for Xavier Woods, but there's always somebody that's going to be typecast as the group guy, and he is that. I don't care how many times you watch Modern Family. When you see what's his face, some people are still always going to think Bundy from Married with Children.
yeah.
It does not matter. Christian will never be not in Edge's shadow. It doesn't matter. Matt Hardy will never be as good or as over as his brother Jeff was. Even if he's better, it doesn't matter. Michael Hayes was a good wrestler on his own. Guess what he is? He's a free bird.
Yep.
He's a free bird.
Free bird.
That's just how it is. And that is Xavier Woods, and that's not a problem. You want to know why? Because WWE considers New Day to be the greatest tag team in the company's entire history. There's 1,000 guys that would kill for that run. So it kind of bugs me that people are like, well, Xavier gets misused or he deserves something. Like, in what way was he ever screwed? Like, he wasn't. Arn Anderson is always going to be second fiddle to Ric Flair. That's tough. But that's the fact. When we thank Horseman, it's going to be Flair and Arn. So I'm not saying you, McCarthy, but like there's this idea that like, well, it's about damn time Xavier got his shot. What are you talking about?
They've been tag team champions how many times?
Like, why is it that being a tag team is lesser? I don't understand that.
I never understood that either. I've seen people like that too.
And to piggyback off that, Xavier feels that way too. Like, yeah, he's getting the singles push, but one of the interviews he did after this, he said tag team wrestling is so important. It makes you a better singles wrestler. He put tag team wrestling on a pedestal.
The only tag team you should be ashamed of is with Brad Maddox. That's it. That's that. That's it.
I'm guessing McCarthy didn't hear you because
I didn't hear all of it. What?
I said, and I'll say it again, the only tag team that Xavier Woods should be ashamed of is with Brad Maddox. That run was pretty rough.
Oh, that was really rough. I forgot about that.
I'm sure he didn't.
And frankly, if Xavier Woods feels that way, and I respect that, but that's another case, and look, I know I'd be a hypocrite as a Hulkster guy to really criticize this, but that's another case of ego getting in your way. Like, there's nothing wrong with being a tag wrestler because...
Well, no, you misunderstood. I said he put tag wrestling on a pedestal. It makes you a better singles wrestler. He didn't say there was anything wrong with tag team wrestling. He loves tag team wrestling. I was agreeing with you guys.
I think the wrong guy... Like, Finn Balor has gotten more misused than Xavier Woods.
Well, the report is
that's not what this tournament is, though. Just because he's gotten misused, he's like Monday. He just got a title shot.
And there is reports that they are going to push him.
Finn Balor.
So we'll see what happens. It sounds like they do want to put him in the big time spot, though. To be honest, you can't do it right now because Big E's the champion, and they probably want a heel champion. I'm sure once Seth gets the title, that's probably his first feud because there's still some story there. They never really got to finish the story of him winning the Universal Championship over Seth.
Seth's not getting the title.
Are you positive about that?
Yes. McCarthy, back me up. Is Seth getting the title from Big E?
I really want to say no, but I'm scared.
I am too.
Survivor Series is right around the corner, and we know how they love their champion versus champion matches at Survivor Series, and they're going to consider Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns a bigger money draw. Roman Reigns versus Big E because of their history. That's what makes me nervous. I don't think he should beat Big E, but part of me thinks that he's going to Survivor Series can be that much bigger.
No. Wait a minute here. No, I clamored. I said, no, you're scaring me. You're telling me You all know how happy I was when Big E won the title.
Yes,
You know how
we all were.
Yeah, and you know how I called for him to be a face of the company a long time ago.
Yeah.
You're telling me you both believe that Seth Rollins is going to win this title?
Yep.
I don't want to believe it.
I don't either.
History has told us that they're going to pick a marquee matchup once over a title reign. They've done it many times.
Big E versus
with
Roman
multiple
is marquee.
guys. I agree. Big E versus Roman Reigns is the match I want to see. It's a huge matchup. Big E has a huge following. Roman Reigns is at the top of his game as a heel right now. It works better. However, WWE booking does sometimes go, oh, let's go for this big match at this pay-per-view, and this is how we're going to get.
The only thing that works in your favor, they don't always really like to book heel versus heel. So I have a hard time believing they're going to book a heel versus heel match, and I don't see them changing Seth anytime soon, and they for damn sure are not going to change Roman anytime soon if they're smart. So that's the only thing that's probably going for you is
Because if they were
Seth is going to win it at some point. I do believe that.
But if Seth was going to win it, then we should have just kept Drew on Raw and let him win it again.
Yeah.
I just... Y'all want to go big? Then say that. No. Damn it, no!
I'm sorry.
Don't do this, Vince.
I'm sorry, buddy.
Don't do it.
I'm sorry.
Because I didn't see it at all until you both said that to me. And now I'm like, damn it, you're right.
I don't like it either. The second he grabbed that last night, I was like, oh, son of a bitch.
That's why I got mad and said, where's Edge? I need Edge.
Speaking of Edge, he defeated Seth Rollins inside Hell in a Cell. What are your thoughts on that match, boys? Napper, I'll start with you.
Match of the show. Dear God. Incredible. I've seen a lot of Hell in a Cell matches. A lot of them recently have been god-awful. This was very good.
Hey, buddy.
I think you're right. Damn it, no.
Yeah.
Damn it, no. I'm sorry. I'm over here struggling.
Sorry. Maybe Edge will screw him over because we're probably going to get part 4 or 5 of this stupid rivalry.
No, we haven't had a chance to get it off the ground yet. No, we have to give it... Don't do this, Vince. You don't stop a diet after 2 weeks. Gotta give it some time. Not that I know anything about diets.
No, right. Exactly. No, this was a really good match, though. Moving on to save you from yourself. This was a good match, though. I like the symbolism they threw in there with Edge super kicking him a couple times and going back to that callback. I thought that was pretty cool. Just the brutality was awesome. There were a couple of moments where I was like, ooh, that had to hurt Edge. That had to hurt. But like I said earlier, I really thought there was a point in this match where we were going to see Taker. I don't know why, but I thought for sure that with all the stories of Taker maybe showing up, this would be the match to do it, and he saves Edge and blah, 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 blah. I really thought it was going to happen, but I'm glad it didn't, and
He's probably partying with Pitbull.
I mean, be inside Hell in a Cell, party with Pitbull. Demonic structure, Pitbull.
I hear you.
I'm taking Pitbull.
Yeah, I was going to say Miami. Mr. McCarthy, thoughts on the Hell in a Cell match?
I thought this match was great, but I have a question.
Yep.
I have a question.
Yep.
Travis, why would Undertaker ever save Edge?
I don't know, man.
Why? Well, just why?
Out of respect, man.
Out of respect. They hated each other, and they still do. I believe in kayfabe. Dang it.
Apparently Undertaker doesn't anymore.
I wish he still did.
No, but this was the match of the show, man. This was great. I think it put everybody in a tight spot, and I think that was needed for sure. Like, everybody that followed, I think this... Yes, they always want to go out and put on a good show, but I think how good Hell in a Cell was gave everybody a nice little like kick in the rear to make sure that they weren't the weak point of the show, if you will. So, but this was everything Hell in a Cell should be. I can't wait to see them go at it again in a few months because they probably will. But no, this is the perfect way to open the show. I was actually surprised it opened the show.
That's the one criticism I have. This should not have opened the show. That's too much to start. You should have put King of the Ring or Queen's Crown to start. You don't want to kick off a show with a Hell in a Cell match.
I actually disagree. I think this was the perfect match to start off the show, to get you excited for the show. Yeah, it took I get what you're saying. It took a lot of the energy out because it was arguably the best match on the show. But
you don't want to put that first.
Yes, you do. You want people to keep tuning in, so they got to look at, hey, I got this match. What am I going to get now?
No.
Why?
It's too much of a high. You've already. How do I put this?
I get it. They screwed Mansoor and Ali. I get that.
No, I don't care about them. That feud didn't matter.
Nobody did. That's
what
why
I'm
they put it on
talking about-
second.
All right, here's a more PG way of saying it. Because I have a perfect way of saying it, but it's not. I can't say it. And it's not even me trying to be inappropriate. It's just the best thing I can come up with. But this is a more appropriate way. You don't have your steak and then bring me the appetizer.
But that wasn't even supposed to be their steak.
You wet the exactly. But when you put Edge and Seth Rollins, two all-time greats inside Hell in a Cell, the only people that could have possibly really followed that on that card are Brock and Roman. But, let's just be frank about it. Honest to God, if you want to, either King of the Ring should have kicked it off, in my opinion, or Goldberg, one of the two.
Yeah.
Because you don't, and they'll be like, Goldberg can't kick off a pay-per-view because it's Goldberg. Bullcrap. Undertaker, Roman Reigns at Extreme Rules when they tagged together against Drew and Shane did. So if Undertaker can still kick off a pay-per-view in this era, so can Goldberg. So I thought it was just a little bit too much too soon. It was a great match. I'm not complaining about that.
The only problem is, where else would you put it besides the end of the show? In the middle?
Yeah, I think you switch out because If I'm being honest, where Finn and Xavier were, put it there. You can have a middle of the match Hell in a Cell. You can't middle of the show Hell in a Cell. You can Undertaker and Shane middle of the match, middle of the show I should say. You can do it. There's no reason to Triple H and Undertaker weren't the main event. They weren't the closer.
Yeah.
You don't have to have it close. I just think the placement is you've already went on the roller coaster. Again, I'm trying to say this in the most PG way possible. I think you can get what I'm getting to. You've already went on the roller coaster. You've rode the ride. Why are we now starting to climb up the hill? If you want to translate that into more personable terms,
woo!
Here's a way I can say this.
I'm just excited to see you keep trying.
You start with kissing. That's the most appropriate way I can say that. There. Point was made. Big Stevie C says, leave it to the WWE to have the best possible option given to them on a silver platter and complete mess it up. They'll put Big E in a triple threat winner-take-all match.
Triple threat. Who's the triple
With
threat?
who, though? With who? Big Stevie C, if you're still watching, with who?
Who's in the triple threat?
Also, I hope you enjoyed that kissing situation.
I did.
Right,
I certainly did.
But I thought I did a good job of
Yes.
getting it out, going all the way.
I think he means Survivor Series.
Look, Look, so
Seth, Roman, and Big E winner take all. That would be my guess.
Why?
That's all I'm saying.
I don't know.
That's all I'm saying. Is I think it was badly placed. Okay. All right. Let's talk quickly before we go to AEW about Drew McIntyre. We don't need to talk much about the match. It was good. But let's also jump a little bit to SmackDown. He beat Sami Zayn. What should we do with Drew McIntyre right now? McCarthy, I'll start with you. What should they do?
I think they need to position him to go against Roman Reigns. It's the most eye-opening match that they can have right now. It's who Roman, because we need to have someone that we think can beat Roman Reigns with Finn Balor gone. Are there a lot of guys on SmackDown right now that we can actually believe can beat Roman? And it would be a nice brawl like they've been having with Roman.
So should that headline the day one pay-per-view?
Yeah, probably should, because it's not going to headline Survivor Series. Plus, it gives us a nice, long story, because obviously Drew's there to fight, to steal something from Sheamus, and it would give us a nice, long feud with Drew and Roman to where we finally see them clash on that New Year's show. But how do you make it go? My only question is, how do you make it go so long? Because Roman's not, he gets help from the Usos, but he's not the cowardly heel either. Like, maybe for like a week, he'll be like, nah, I'm not going to wrestle you right now. But then the next week comes and he's like, you know what? You talked a lot of smack. I'm going to go ahead and fight you now.
But maybe there's a way to maybe that could be what Drew brings out of him. That way we make Drew look more believable. Because right now a lot of people would say, is he believable? To some extent, yes, but not nearly as what he would be 6 months ago, now that he's had this kind of downward trend.
And think about it. Like, there's not been very many people that have gone after the bloodline. That'd be a good way to get him started.
Yeah, what if he just took him out one by one?
Like Cena with Nexus. Like, take him out one by one and kind of...
You don't have to turn him heel, but he used to be called the Scottish Psychopath.
Yeah. Bring that back.
Bring that part back a little bit. Maybe, I don't know.
Or even if you don't do that, he's the Scottish warrior. He's got a sword. Cut off the head. There you go.
Of the table.
You could...
You're welcome.
What?
You said cut off the head. I added of the table. You're welcome.
Look, not my champion. I think you could start by even having a confrontation and maybe attacking Paul Heyman.
Yeah. And then Paul Heyman gets fed up with it and goes back to Brock.
But I think, and then I think he systematically destroys the Usos, and then, what if at Survivor Series he beats the Usos in a 2-on-1 handicap match? And
for an opportunity to maybe challenge for the championship?
Day one. So I just think, I think that's the best bet. I don't know what else you do with it. Because
the only other thought I can have is,
that's
that's what I was thinking. Like, the only other thought is Intercontinental. And to be honest, I don't want to see Shinsuke lose it yet. But then again, Shinsuke's not really doing anything with it.
Yeah, matter of fact, I think that's a better option. I think
maybe
Drew versus Shinsuke would be a great option. And
it'd be a good match.
As an Intercontinental Championship run. What do you think? Drew is an Intercontinental Champion, McCarthy? What are your thoughts on that?
You know what? I'd like to see that. He'd be able to elevate the Intercontinental title, and it'd be a nice little throwback to his first time with the company.
The chosen one shall rise again.
Shattered dreams, man, or broken dreams, not shattered dreams.
Broken dreams.
Broken dreams.
Shattered dreams, something else.
Yeah, that was. We'll get to him. So
that dastardly person.
So I want to ask you a few questions, McCarthy, because you missed a little bit before you were able to join us. Do you still consider Survivor Series to be a Big Four pay-per-view?
No, I don't.
What's your Big Four now?
I have a Big Three. I don't have a Big Four. Survivor Series has fallen off. It kind of it went so far away from how it was created that it's barely even Survivor Series. 2 5-on-5s, and it's all about brand supremacy because everybody cares. And then everything else is champion versus champion. We need more 5-on-5s for it to be Survivor Series.
We put Money in the Bank in that spot.
Yeah, I guess you could see that, but even that's getting to the point where it's like, you saw it on Monday. We basically had a Money in the Bank without calling it Money in the Bank.
I mean, he's true. He's got a point.
Like, because they never said Seth Rollins gets this title shot, in 2 weeks. The way everything ended, it was like, oh, he can challenge this whenever the hell he wants. But it's, a folder, a business folder, instead of a briefcase.
It's lighter. It's it's not as heavy to.
Convenient.
It's a new
way more
coat of paint, sir. That's all it is.
It's more convenient. What can I say?
It's more convenience. It might be lighter, but you can put all of your things in that briefcase.
Who
you
wants
get
to
pair of knee pads in there? You can have your headphones.
You
your
can
work
put,
phone
I guess,
or your
slime and
business
spray
phone.
paint.
I mean, see, slime and spray paint.
Or whatever they used whenever they basically slimed Seth Rollins.
You put some Gatorade in there. Everything you need in that briefcase. That business folder, that's going to hold the contract, some loose leaf paper, and a couple of pens.
You think Hornswoggle would fit in there?
Oh, certainly.
In the briefcase?
Yeah, why not?
I'm going to hell for that joke.
So, question, McCarthy. When's the last time you cared about Survivor Series, and what can they do to bring back that Big Four vibe?
I haven't cared about it for a while. Like, I don't even know how long. And it just needs to be more 5-on-5s. And they don't even have to be like, oh, this clique versus this clique. It can be like how it used to be, where it's like 5 random dudes.
Yep, Team
versus 5
Hulkamania.
random dudes that are on the same show. I think that's what hurts Survivor Series the most. They're so focused on this brand supremacy thing that we get invasions for a month. We get, 2 teams of men, 2 teams of women, 1 from each show, right? And then when it's over with, there's nowhere to go with the story. You can't create more feuds out of the Survivor Series matches, if you will, because now they're on different shows again.
Like
I think that's what's hurting it. Like, it's just a spectacle.
They celebrate their win like the first week, and then that's it.
Yeah, and then that's it. And that, like, who cares? Like, I want to see feuds come out of this. That was the whole point of Survivor Series. Get a bunch of people, big names on the card, put them in elimination matches, and create feuds out of it.
You had Big E and Keith Lee stare down each other, and nothing came of it.
Nothing came of it. I mean, and how many times now, how many years in a row has it been, one show's team completely dominates the other one for no reason? So now you're weakening one show while uplifting the other one. Why don't we just keep the 5-on-5? Like, sure, have SmackDown and have Raw be on Survivor Series. But can we keep the Raw guys versus the Raw guys and the SmackDown guys versus the SmackDown guys and pepper in the big titles? Maybe just the world champion versus the universal champion and the 2 women's champions, and that's it. That's the only interpromotional we really need, because that can create something maybe down the line, but you're going to get a better story out of 10 guys on the same show, because who knows, you might come out of that with feuds. I'm talking to the writers here, not you guys, because you know how this works. You could get a feud out of these matches that you weren't even thinking of, because they just kind of match up and have instant chemistry. It's like, oh, we're revisiting that one.
I'm sorry, sir. Are you implying that WWE writers don't know how this works?
Yes. I think they have like 6 writers that know how this works, because they have like great storylines at the top of the card, and then everything else is like, we're just going to throw things at the wall and see what happens.
Well, let's hope this is the Survivor Series that turns it around, Mr. McCarthy. Wouldn't you agree?
I certainly hope so. You still love the Survivor Series.
I'm not holding my breath.
It meant something.
Be hopeful, damn it.
Yeah, don't be a negative Nancy.
Yeah, we're only going to do that here in a minute.
I'm not a negative Nancy. I'm a negative Nick.
Any final thought on anything we've talked about in this first hour before we move it on, or this second hour, and before we move it on to AEW? Anything you want to touch on that we haven't touched on? Anything at all?
McCarthy, is Charlotte Flair done in WWE?
I don't think she's done. I think some fences need to be mended. It's 2021. We can't be having Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels situations. Like this has got to get fixed.
There you go.
All right.
I think that was everything we were going to ask him.
Okay.
Before we yell at him.
All right. So.
What did I do?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Oh.
Yet.
Good. You're a great
This is
man.
egregious.
So. Let's talk AEW Dynamite, shall we? Okay. All right. We want to remind you as we head into this third and final hour, this is To the Turnbuckle. Presented by Bruiser Nation Productions, right here on Heel Turn Wrestling on Facebook. Again, if you haven't liked our Facebook page, To the Turnbuckle, please do that. We would love that. If you're still tuned in, please give us a share, give us a like. We would greatly appreciate that. We go live each and every Tuesday, 5 to 8. We're also cross-posting on Score on Air Network. Again, be sure to check out BeyondAir.com if you're interested in doing what we do, which is being in the media industry. And always be sure to listen to the flagship show, the Bruce Cruise Podcast, the only podcast that brings you pro wrestling to your ears. How'd I do, McCarthy?
That was perfect. Yes.
All right. Let's talk a little bit more about the Tony Khan, Eric Bischoff war words, because they have continued. Bischoff says that Tony Khan is manipulating data to prove this war is on their side and things like that. With the the demos and all that sort of thing. And he says, and I'm just going to say it. I am quoting here. I'm going to say it quietly because Rhonda is in front of this window. So I'm going to say it quietly. He says that CM Punk has, and I quote, shit the bed since coming to AEW. What do you think, Mr. McCarthy, about this Tony Khan, Eric Bischoff war words? I never thought we'd see this, but here we are. And has CM Punk taken a dookie in the bed since coming to AEW?
Disgusting.
I'm gonna start with that one. I don't think he's pooped the bed, if you will.
Oh, come on.
Is it what we... Okay, I don't think he shit the bed, if
there
you
you
will.
go.
Eric Bischoff right now is just looking for clicks. He's just saying whatever. He doesn't even give a shit. Doesn't care. He's playing a character like the rest of us on these podcasts. He does not give a shit. He just wants people to click on it and hear what he has to say. As far as the manipulating data, okay, how do you manipulate data that's already manipulated because it's not a true algorithm of who's watching what and when? There's 40 to 50,000, and I did research about this before the show today. There's 40 to 50,000 Nielsen TV homes in this country. They use that to create an estimate, to estimate some more. They don't include streaming yet. They don't include apps yet. They just announced 12 hours ago that they're teaming with Roku to help improve their numbers. I'm sick of it all from everybody about these ratings because they're not real numbers and I don't give a shit. I don't care. You know what these numbers are for? What they're really for? For how much you can charge advertisers. That's what these numbers are for. Why do we all fucking care? Why do we care? It makes no sense. Who cares what the ratings are? They're not for us. They're for people to grab money. That's all they're for.
Yes. I'm so clipping that when I get home. Wow.
I care.
I researched it, and then I got even more irritated
Why
about
do you
the whole
care?
rating system.
You care just so you can yell at him.
Yeah, well, I care.
We care because it makes
Hold on.
content for this damn show.
True. But
Because you two can't get along.
we don't talk about the dwindling Raw ratings all the time. Don't we?
He's got a
Hey,
point.
who makes the rundown though, man? I wouldn't talk
I do,
about
I'll
him.
have
I mean,
know,
you
and
make
I
the
do a damn
rundown.
Good job of it.
And he called you little, not me.
I made the run because it's a topical conversation among wrestling fans who we're trying to appeal to. And you're sitting over there having a meltdown. Because
You
ratings
guys
still
like my
kind of matter.
meltdowns.
Because you're right about advertisers. You know, advertisers like, I don't know, a pizza cutter spot during a Domino's commercial.
That was just a happy accident.
Yeah,
That wasn't very happy.
that's Nick Gage's entire career.
Oh, God. True, though.
Guess he's going to be back on AEW at some point. That's all. Anywho, all right. Look, do I think Eric Bischoff is probably trying to get a little clicks? Yes and no, because he's been very supportive of Tony Khan because he doesn't like Vince either. Like, wouldn't anybody want to see the Vince fall more than him? Like, because, hell, he was reduced to groveling to be in the Raw GM. But, all kidding aside, it is a case of, once again, Tony Khan, and we talked about this last week, we'll talk about it this week, probably talk about it next week, because Tony Khan, for some reason, is suddenly like a teenager going through puberty. He can't take any bit of criticism, and he always feels the need, like, because he's been great for 2 years. He was above that. For 2 years, he was above it. And I'll give him credit for that. He took a lot of shit. But now he wants to take on the world. All of a sudden, he's gotten too big for his britches. When you're still, in terms of relevancy, like, in really an overall popularity, because the reality is, we still don't know how great AEW is as a product, because to some degree, some people watch AEW and think they're the greatest thing ever just because it's not Vince. There is a large portion of those. Well, it's not Vince, so it's cool. Hal McCarthy's one of them.
Some
I don't
days.
think that's true.
Well, of course you're not going to think that's true.
Well, no, I've watched WWE programming for years. Almost as long as you guys have been alive.
I mean,
And
of
I
course
got
you have.
tired
You're
of it.
92.
I was going to say, every bit of 98.
And the only thing that's coming from all this nonsense is that we're getting better stories in WWE. And I give them credit for that all the time. When was the last time, other than like Goldberg winning the title and Vince releasing people, that I've gone off about WWE? Not very often.
When's the last time you went on about AEW?
I support their wrestlers. AEW hasn't pissed me off yet.
Give it time.
Give it time. Look, here's why we still watch all this crap, because we do this show and we love each other. Behave yourself.
Yeah.
We all suffer through this every week.
Like a family, damn it.
I suffer through this crap on both sides every week for you guys. Oh, who am I kidding? I'd still watch it.
Yeah.
But I watch it to such a great degree because I come in here every Tuesday and I love this show, and I like to tell McCarthy just how wrong he is.
And I just like watching.
And to think, I
shut up,
this
Switzerland.
show with you guys for like the rest of my life on some level. I don't know how we're going to do this.
I feel like I need to start buying a T-shirt that just says Switzerland.
My blood pressure can't take it. But he does. All of a sudden, he thinks he's big shit.
I got it. Switzerland on wheels.
When the only thing that is big shit is Rampage every Friday night.
Yeah.
Rampage.
I thought
is
Rampage
the
was
biggest
good last
catastrophic
week.
failure in AEW history thus far. A rerun of SmackDown outdrew Dynamite.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true. According to the, averages and numbers that everybody makes up, that's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
That's why,
let's
because
be
it's not
honest,
accurate
hasn't he been a
representation.
catastrophic
Like,
failure
I'm
thus
totally
far?
fine.
Hold on.
If, if that replay beat AEW, it is what it is. It is what it is. But like I said in my rant, these aren't real numbers.
They're
not
real either.
What
And yes, hooray! If a replay from SmackDown, they beat AEW with the numbers they have, good. Okay, it is what it is. It is what it is. That's not my issue. The issue is these aren't real freaking numbers. Maybe they beat AEW Rampage even worse, and we'll never know because they're not real numbers. They're averages upon aggregates upon this, upon that, because Nielsen picks and chooses and does this and that, and only certain people are Nielsen TV families. And, if you're watching it on your phone, on Hulu Live TV, you don't count. Whether it's SmackDown or Rampage or Dynamite or Raw.
Oh, it don't matter. That's
I'm sorry, man. I just read the article like 2 hours ago.
it don't matter. Sad face.
You matter to me, Travis.
Oh, thanks, buddy. You didn't say Logan mattered.
He wasn't complaining. I had to make you feel better.
Oh, that's
now you need to make me feel better.
make
you
him feel better
too, Logan.
Thanks.
Yay. Happy thoughts until we all yell at each other and rip each other's heads off again in like 2 seconds.
So we're really going to do this show for like the rest of our lives.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Fine.
But yes, on the CM Punk thing, I think you're partially right.
Has he been a failure thus far?
It's not been a failure, but it's been pretty bad. We had this discussion last week where it's like it's starting to overcome it's starting to outdo its welcome. We all said that, where it's not, we haven't completely lost hope, but the fact that they're not doing anything with it after what was a hot start is concerning. Very concerning. Because you have arguably the largest bullet in the chamber on your roster, which you used for a month, and now you got nothing else with it. That's it.
But things might be getting better.
They might be. They might be.
Watch Dynamite. Things might be getting a little better.
So.
But we'll talk about that in just a moment. First, I want to ask Mr. McCarthy a question regarding this. Has CM Punk been a failure thus far in AEW? Don't worry, that question's coming. Give it time. Just another minute.
Yeah. I don't think at this point he's been a failure. However, if they don't give us a story, I don't care who it is. Do we all want to see him and Colt Cabana? Sure. Yep. Yeah, we do. Mm-hmm. Hell yeah, we do. Mm-hmm. But I don't care at this point. I need a story. And Bobby Fish isn't going to cut it. No offense to Bobby Fish. But that's not a story. CM Punk coming out to defend a young dude. That's not a story. No, I want a feud, a story, a reason to watch CM Punk in the ring. Not just, oh, hey, he's wrestling this guy. And no qualms to Matt Sydal. That was probably the best match CM Punk has had so far. And a lot of this is attributed to Matt Sydal. But can we get some story? Like, the one thing I've always said about AEW is that their stories are pretty damn good most of the time. But they don't even have one for CM Punk. And it's egregious that they don't have one for CM Punk. It's not that hard. He's one of the best talkers in the history of the business. They have a plethora of heels on that roster. Young heels on that roster. There's absolutely no reason why we're getting CM Punk matches for the sake of CM Punk matches.
All right. I, for one, am excited to see Bobby Fish versus CM Punk, but we'll talk about that in just a minute.
I'm excited, too. I just want to see a story. I need a story. I need something.
I hear you. Well, let's talk about another subject.
Speaking of stories.
Let's talk about another subject here for a moment. Let's talk about Dynamite. Kind of. Bryan Danielson defeated Dustin Rhodes in this World Title Eliminator Tournament, right?
Yep.
Mr. McCarthy, I have a question.
Oh, God.
Given, and I know that the fine folks at Vice TV didn't cover this, But given that Dustin Rhodes, in the original lawsuit documents of the plane ride from hell, was accused of something just as egregious as our beloved Nature Boy. Why is Dustin Rhodes on TV? Not that I have a major issue with it, but you said on this show last week that Ric Flair probably won't be used for at least a year by anybody. Because of that plane ride, yes?
Because they didn't cover Dustin. That's why. Ric Flair is the dude that died on the cross, so to speak, for that plane ride from hell. I said there's a lot of dudes that shouldn't be involved right now. Because a lot of dudes did some terrible things. Because, yeah, what Ric Flair did was terrible. What Dustin did was terrible. Almost killing everybody by getting in a fight in a freaking airplane when you're 285 pounds, that's pretty fucking terrible.
Great way to go, though.
I mean, I guess. But, like, they crucified Ric Flair. They did. They knew that would be the big story coming out of it, and they crucified him on it. That's why Ric Flair won't be touched. And I really said that towards WWE because of the history that they showed when Hulk Hogan had his issues. They would not touch him with a 10-foot pole for like 2 years.
3.
They're going to do this. 3. See? 3 years. They're going to do the same thing to Ric Flair. And if Tony Khan doesn't want to be, how can I put this? It's the best way to, I don't think there is a good way to put this. A liar, a fake, a bullshitter, he can't either because he said Hulk Hogan can't be on his show.
A hypocrite?
Yeah, but I think mine was slightly more fun, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
that's
but.
A good word. Yeah. That's a good word too. I don't know why I couldn't think of that word. But like,
and I want to make something clear. I don't have an issue with Dustin being on TV.
No.
It doesn't mean I support what he may have done or didn't do or whoever, but I also understand that, dear God, it was like 2 decades ago, and for the grace of God, it could always be somebody else. We can't punish people forever, and I'm not a believer in cancel culture. I'm not. Like, if I got an issue with somebody, I'll change the channel. Because obviously I go pretty far on this show sometimes too far. And I've owned that. And usually it's all in the sake of I'm trying to be funny because I'm a fat guy with a fat guy complex. I want to be funny. Name them. Chris Farley, Kevin James, fat guys. We fat guys, we want to be funny. Sometimes
That's all we got left, man. That's all we got left.
I go too far sometimes on this show, and these guys have stuck with me bravely because there's been some cringy moments.
I mean, I can understand. We all can't all be beautiful and funny, so I guess I can see what.
That was cringy all in itself.
So, do you have an issue with Dustin Rhodes being on TV?
No. I don't really like it. But, like you said, 20 years ago, that's why I think this whole Ric Flair thing, like we talked about when it all came out, it's terrible, yeah. But I'm so sick of cancel culture like you guys are. Like, I'm so sick of time.
So, because I said this earlier in the show, I went to an NWA show this weekend, as you know. And I didn't have any NWA gear related directly to NWA. And so I dusted off my Ric Flair merch because I was like, what else do I have that's related? And I was worried, obviously, am I going to get some gawks, some comments, some bad things? And perhaps rightfully so if Ric Flair did these things. I got nothing but compliments. Nothing but compliments. I'm talking about 30 to 35 people were nothing but complimentary. Is it possible that, and I'm not excusing what Rick did or did not do, or Dustin did or did not do, wasn't there, don't know. Is it possible that the people that get into cancel culture are a small minority as far as really wanting to erase people and never see them again?
I think that's fair. I think it's a small but vocal minority.
It is. It's a very small and vocal minority. Look what they tried to do to Dave Chappelle.
That is true.
That's true.
I mean, I don't want to die on a soapbox, but like he wasn't saying anything hateful. And it's Dave Chappelle. He makes fun of everyone. If anybody shouldn't like him, it should be like white people because he makes fun of us the most. But we laugh. And it's okay because we think it's funny because he's a comedian. That's his job.
Like I said at the beginning of the show, we are
envelope
equal
and be
opportunity to
funny.
make fun of our ers.
Yes. Absolutely. So,
Like,
would
and
you have
you know,
an issue
and to
with
take it a
it?
step
This
further,
is the
like
final
just to
question on
defend
this, then we'll talk more
my
about
dude Chappelle a little
wrestling.
bit, like he makes fun of everybody equally, like most comics do in this day and age.
What'd you say?
Not like just. Oh, I was just defending my dude Dave Chappelle a little bit more,
Gotcha.
saying that he makes fun of everybody equally. He always has, and he always will. Like I guess my question with that, and I'm still going on tirade. Have these people never seen Dave Chappelle before?
Nah, I think it's more so just the fact that they now think it's wrong. Like back then it was funny. Now it's wrong.
But it's funny.
But it's wrong now.
But it's funny.
I know.
He's like South Park, but real person.
See,
And no
that's
one's
the
trying
thing
to
that always
cancel
made me
South
laugh
Park.
is we still
Like-
got freaking South Park on this freaking network that makes fun of everybody. Has some of the most outlandish garbage. Still on TV. Still there. Simpsons, we just talked about it. One of the most longest reigning episodic television shows in history. Still on the air.
Family Guy.
Family Guy. I don't know if Family Guy is very much still on the air, though.
It is.
Is it?
Yeah, every Sunday on Fox, they're part of that animation donation thing.
I thought they were
They'll
pretty
never
much
cancel
done.
them.
American.
Remember what
Dad,
happened last time?
Yeah. What?
So
Yeah.
they never cancel them. They brought them back last time.
They keep coming back.
So, but yeah,
But I didn't think they were canceled. I just thought they were just like cut.
but I do. I just, and again, I'm not. I don't know what Ric Flair or Dustin Rhodes did or did not do, and no, neither do you. And maybe those heinous things happened, but it's a maybe. He said, she said, is hearsay. That don't, that's, we don't know. And so my point being is this. It's, if Dustin Rhodes can be on TV, and that's fine, I don't care. I like Dustin Rhodes. I've always been a fan. Then does Ric Flair really got to sit for a year, 2, 3 years before he's welcome back to any company? I just think that, I just wish we as a society would get better, because there's a difference between correction and cancel. Why can't we adapt and grow? That's what I like to see. All right.
I mean, I
anywho,
agree.
let's
I just
talk more
think
wrestling.
they've set precedent.
Say it again?
I agree with you. I don't think, what happened was a big deal, but whatever happened to learning from mistakes and bettering yourself?
Yeah.
But both companies kind of set precedents for this kind of thing, so they're kind of stuck. So I still am wondering why Dustin's on TV, but the only reason I can think of is the big headline from that was Ric Flair did all this terrible stuff. And everything else kind of they talked about it in Dark Side of the Ring, but how many people that are involved in cancel culture even pay attention to pro wrestling, even took the time to watch that entire episode?
I hear you. But then on top of what Rob Van Dam tweeted about the producers and how things were kind of cleverly edited for him to say things or imply things that he really did not imply, we don't, and I'm not saying Ric Flair didn't do these things. I want to make that clear. But I'm also saying we don't know that he did. We don't have any idea. We weren't there. There's only 2 people that know. Maybe 1, because Flair drinks a lot. Only that woman really knows. But Flair says it didn't happen.
And RVD, maybe.
And Flair says he never saw, or Rob Van Dam says he never saw what he said he saw in what seemed like it in the Dark Side of the Ring. Oh, well. All right. We'll see Ric Flair again someday, hopefully. Bobby Fish defeated Anthony Green, August Gray back in the NXT days. We did get the run-in because Bobby Fish officially turned heel. So could we get CM Punk versus Bobby Fish And Travis Napper, we know that McCarthy's not excited about it because it doesn't have a good story. But what do you think of this?
I don't understand why. Why Punk? Why Punk to make the save? Because there's no connection with him and Anthony Green. There's really not any story with him and Fish, except maybe brief history in Ring of Honor. But why are we doing this? Because, like you said, because we don't have a plan. We used up all of our plan with Darby Allin, best in the world. Da 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 da. Now what do we do? What do we do? I don't know what to do. What do we do? Oh, let's put him with that guy. That'll work. Okay, we did that. Now what do we do? I don't know. Oh, there's that guy. Let's put him with that guy. That'll work. Month after month after week. Oh, hey, he's not doing anything. Can we put Punk with him? Let's do that. Yeah, let's do that. That'll work. Really? That's our plan? Oh, he's not doing anything. Let's put him with Punk. It could work. It could work. I will say that. I'm glad they're at least putting him with somebody that I feel like could carry a storyline with him. But for there to be a storyline, there has to be a story. What's the story other than he made the save? Why did he make the save? Hopefully we get answers to those questions in the coming weeks. But like McCarthy said, it's like, yeah, cool, he made the save. Why? That's the biggest question you can ever ask in wrestling. Why? I don't know why. So tell me why.
Well, tell me why. All right. Nothing but okay. And so let me ask you this: would Vince McMahon have done better with CM Punk's return thus far?
Probably not.
McCarthy?
Yeah, I don't know either, just because you know how Vince is when people rub him the wrong way and get on his bad side. But I don't know. Maybe I like to give Vince the benefit of the doubt on this, because maybe he would have had a plan. Because, yeah, CM Punk and Bobby Fish, it's probably going to be a banger. It's probably going to outshine CM Punk and Matt Sydal. However, I don't have a reason other than I always watch AEW to watch this. That's not why I'm going to tune in. I just watch Dynamite anyway. But your casual fan, there's no story. There's nothing to throw out on YouTube to give us take a bite out of, if you will. Oh, he saved some young guy. Hooray! Some young guy that most casual fans have never heard of. Not taking anything away from him. Mm-hmm. But most casual fans have not heard of Anthony Green. They just haven't. And so now you're asking questions. You don't want casual fans asking all these questions. You want to give them the answers to those questions. Why should I care? And this is the part that bothers me about where we're at with CM Punk right now. They're not giving us a reason to care. They did it first because he hasn't been in wrestling in 7 years. But now why do we care? Like Bryan Danielson, you know why we care. Because he wants to prove that he's the best. That's his story right now. He wants to wrestle everybody. He wants to beat the hell out of everybody. And he wants to prove without a shadow of a doubt that he's the best. That's the story. What's CM Punk's story?
That I want to do this just because I can.
I want to be the best, then it wouldn't be with all these young guys. Even at that point where he first came, I want to prove I can still go. Well, then why are you still wrestling green people, bro? Like aside from Matt Sydal and upcoming Bobby Fish and Darby Allin when he first showed up, he's wrestling a bunch of green people. He hasn't touched Ricky Starks. That's a story in and of itself. The one storyline they had with CM Punk, they never finished.
They didn't bother.
Because he could still wrestle Hook. He could still wrestle Ricky Starks. But no, we're just going to end it with Powerhouse Hobbs? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Why he's having random match after random match when we had a perfectly good feud Then all you had to do was continue. That could have gone until December. To this major showdown, eventually CM Punk punches Taz and Hook finally gets in the ring. Because did anybody else hear people chanting for Hook when Powerhouse Hobbs was wrestling Orange Cassidy? Because I did. We want Hook. We want Hook. Give them Hook. And you could have, but you blew it. You blew it. Now how do you get Hook involved with anything?
Let's not on the rundown, but let's talk about Orange Cassidy. Haven't they completely screwed the pooch with him? When is it the joke's not funny anymore? It was a joke they got over one good time, and now it's a whole thing. It sucks. Where's the evolution of Orange Cassidy that we were getting, and it has come to a screeching halt? What are your thoughts, McCarthy?
I feel like it halted after Jericho. For some reason, it stopped. And maybe part of it is because Trent's hurt. But that still doesn't make sense. Chucky T's still there. You could have had an evolution. They have it right there. Him and Chris Statlander go way back. But they're never involved with each other. They're never helping each other. They're never. And you could have done that with the Bunny feud, when she was wrestling Bunny and the Blade was there. You could have done that. You could have made something of that and given us Blade versus Orange Cassidy. Because, yeah, the joke is getting kind of old because they're not following through with what they were doing. When he was wrestling above his talent level, at least in storyline and name recognition, there would be a point where he'd stop screwing around. Mm-hmm. And I talked about it on the show. It's that's the new style of it's his version of the babyface comeback. He's going to screw around. He's going to be lazy. And then, oh, crap, I cannot be lazy right now. And then he turns it into another gear and gets serious, which we saw with Chris Jericho. I think the Matt Hardy feud cooled him down a lot. Do I respect and like Matt Hardy? Of course. Do I think his greatest gimmick ever, apart from Jeff, was probably V1? Probably. But that feud really, really cooled Orange Cassidy, because even then, does anybody remember why Matt Hardy hated Orange Cassidy and still hates Orange Cassidy? Adam Hangman Page made him look like a jackass. He doesn't hate Adam Hangman Page the way he hates Orange Cassidy. He's still giving him the stink eye in the crowd during the Hobbs match. Dude, what is going on? Tell us why. It makes no sense.
Tell me why.
And you can't have Matt Hardy go, I think his style is too ridiculous. Really, Matt? Really? You've gone pretty far out there. So yes. they've kind of started to screw up with Orange Cassidy by not giving us a reason to care. We cared when he wrestled Pac, for God's sakes. Pac, I always do that. When he wrestled Pac, we cared because he had to get serious. He didn't have a choice because Pac will kill you. And now nothing. I think my rant's over.
Okay. Look. What about you? Is it time to change the Orange Cassidy gimmick?
Yes. Yep. Even if you don't change it completely, you got to make a change.
Well, you got to stop doing the kicks and it's so played out. I thought it was stupid at first. Well, I know that.
Right.
But I understood that it was
over.
That it was over, but now it's just. I'm going to go ahead and just completely borrow from him here. I heard Jim Cornette this week say he's the company mascot, and that's pretty accurate to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if I can disagree with that.
You want to, but you can't.
I don't. Yeah, I want to, but I don't think I can.
He said he's the company mascot that a certain, select core group of people want to see do his thing. But other than that, everybody else is going, come on, do something else.
Yeah, because even me, I thought that shtick was hilarious. But then I got to see the the serious Orange Cassidy. And I'm like, more of this, please. More of this, please.
And he compared it to, and we all know a guy like this. He compared it to, he said Lou Albano. He said every time he saw Lou in real life out of character, he said Lou would tell the same joke every single time. He said, I hope your dry cleaning bill is good because that tie you're wearing is a pisser. And he said, not that funny, but because it's Lou, you laughed. He said, but Lou said that to me every single time he ever saw me. He said, by about the 15th time, you go, I knew you were going to say that. And he said, that's kind of like Orange Cassidy right now. He said, if you liked it at first, and he didn't, obviously, but he said, okay. But he said, now we're all waiting on something new with Orange Cassidy, and I completely agree. All right. Eddie Kingston defeated Lance Archer. This match, unfortunately, was known for a real bad spot there. McCarthy, what was your thoughts?
I mean, what we saw was pretty good because it's Eddie Kingston and Lance Archer, and I can't even be mad at the result because what if Eddie wasn't supposed to win, but they had to call an audible because of the misrotation by Lance on that moonsault? Because Lance deserves to go longer in this tournament. He's been completely ignored for months. But I can't like go on a rant about him losing because now we'll never know if he was supposed to win or not, because at the end of the day, and thank God, wrestler safety comes first. Didn't used to be that way. And at times it still doesn't. But they called a pretty big audible on this one. Because, yeah, Eddie Kingston versus Jon Moxley is a big match. But so's Lance Archer and Jon Moxley. So's Lance Archer and everyone else in this tournament. So I really hope that Archer was supposed to win this match with Eddie, and they had to call an audible. It was almost too short because of the mistake to really give it a full grade and a full thought process. It was just like over before we knew it because he landed on his damn head doing a moonsault, which he's done countless times.
You just misrotated this time.
Yeah, he just misrotated. It happens. I'm just glad he's okay.
Ditto. Just so glad because it could have been way worse. So glad he's all right. Cody Rhodes defeated Malachi Black. Oh boy, he got the win he was itching for. Yay! And look, I've become a supporter of, hey, if Cody's going to stay face, whatever. But we don't need to squash people or hurt their momentum in that process. You took a loss, 2 losses. Feud's over. Move on to somebody else. What were your thoughts, McCarthy?
I thought this was egregious as hell. For one, look. All the power to him. He does all the outreach. He's got a little girl. Okay. I get it. But get out of your own freaking way, Cody. You're better as a heel. I get it. You do outreach. You do TV shows. Who cares? It's not 1996. It's not 1989. We all know how this works. We all know you're playing a character on TV. It's okay to be a heel character. For God's sakes, look at John Cena now. He might not have time to do outreach, but he's kind of playing villains right now, and he's being successful. But he can still do outreach because he's playing a role. And I think Cody Rhodes is holding too much kayfabe in his brain for some strange reason. Because nobody wanted to see him win that match. Nobody in that crowd, nobody at home. And there's no reason for it because, let's be honest, did you guys really see anything all that different between this Cody Rhodes after Arn gave him the lashings and burnt his suit to the Cody Rhodes that lost to Malachi Black in like 2 minutes? Did you?
Nah.
I mean, he did the crossroads through a table, but he did that to Brody Lee. So that's not even new. It's not even a more aggressive Cody Rhodes. Like, where's the aggressive, mean, angry Cody Rhodes that should have been in this match? Malachi Black destroyed you, destroyed the Nightmare Factory, beat up everybody. Why aren't you lethal and evil and terrible? It makes sense. in the storytelling process that he was turned evil. What's that old line from Batman? You either die the hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. This is that point where he becomes the villain. And he's not, because he's hard-headed and ridiculous. And I love Cody Rhodes, but something needs to change. He's not John Cena. The fans are not going to turn around and accept him and respect him the way they did John Cena. When John Cena was able to get through the boos and get through the 50-50 crowds. And that's the other thing. Maybe if the crowd was split 50-50, I could see still trying to hang his hat on being a face. But they're not. That whole crowd is booing you. That's telling you something.
And like,
I mean, and take away from what he said about listening to the fans. That's Pro Wrestling 101. You listen to the fans when you're out there and you make changes accordingly. That's just Pro Wrestling 101 right there. That's like third month. So why aren't you doing that? Your family has been in this business for decades. Why aren't you doing it?
and like
I don't even care if he's like a tweener or an anti-hero, but he's the same Cody for no reason. But we need a change. He doesn't have to go full villain, but he can't keep trying to be John Cena of AEW. He just can't. It's not going to work for him. And the sooner he realizes this, the better.
And the biggest thing for me when comparing him to John Cena, because honestly, that's the closest you can get to,
Sure.
as somebody who's a clear-cut babyface that never changed. John never complained about getting booed, to my knowledge.
You wanted it. Go ahead.
He never went against it. He never told them, he never stood up and puffed out his chest like, I'm not going to change. He just came to work and did his thing. Like, that's the difference between Cody Rhodes and John Cena. Cody Rhodes feels like he has to comment. He has to explain himself. John Cena never explained himself. He just said, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Eventually, down the line, he explained why he never did it. But in the heat of the moment, he never explained why he continued to stay babyface. He just did it. And like McCarthy said, he fought through the boos. Cody isn't fighting through the boos. He's fighting against the boos. That's the difference. That's why Cody will never work in this instance, because he's going against the grain. He's going against the fans. He wants them to accept him instead of him accepting that they're booing him.
I do want to say one thing in Devil's Advocate. John Cena has said the reason that he'll play these villains in movies and not in WWE television is he thinks it's easier for the parents to explain to the kids. Because wrestling's not quite...
That's not John Cena. That's somebody else.
Well, like in terms of wrestling and movies are viewed, and I think properly, but we can debate that another day. Properly viewed as two different things. Movie is viewed as full-fledged acting, so it's easier to tell a child, well, he's just completely acting. Or when John Cena, the WWE star, it's tougher to say he's completely acting. I'm saying to the child. Again, we can debate all day long if it's the same thing. That's a different time.
If I may interject.
Go ahead.
It's not hard to tell your children that fact about pro wrestling. I've done it for as long as Jason could understand. It's not hard. You just have to be willing to have the conversation. Just like you would have the conversation about your kid's favorite movie star taking a role as a villain.
Or Santa Claus.
That's not who he really... I let Jason figure that out for himself. Thank you. But it's not a hard conversation.
Figure out what for himself?
Absolutely nothing.
Okay.
You're welcome, children that probably aren't, but maybe watching To the Turnbuckle.
Probably shouldn't be.
Leave those milk and cookies for Santa. He gets hungry. But it's not a hard conversation. Like, I don't believe anything is a hard conversation with your children. The hard conversation is making it age appropriate. but you have to be willing to have numerous conversations with your children. Because if you don't, they grow up with a blind over their eyes and they don't see how the world is. They also don't open up to you. Sorry, I should have said PSA for all the parents out there that think it's hard to have conversations with your children. It's not.
Damn it! You should have told me I need to prepare a graphic for this.
They're just smaller people.
If I had known we were going to do PSAs with Bruiser McCarthy, I would have prepared more.
I didn't see this coming, okay? It just happened. They're just smaller people. You just have to make it age appropriate in words that they will understand and words that they know. It's not hard. I did it with Jason his entire life, from pro wrestling to everything else that's important to me and the real world. You just have to make it age appropriate. Get down on their level and be willing to converse and not tell your children. You converse with them. That's how we learn. That's how people learn. Conversations, repetition, proper training. I can go on and on and on. It's not about telling. It's about conversations and examples and why this is and why this happens and why you shouldn't do this and why do best friends in wrestling beat the crap out of each other more than someone that they're on screen with is supposed to hate each other? Because they're closer. They trust each other more. I had that conversation. I was like, watch this. Watch these two beat the crap out of each other. You know, they're best friends backstage, right? They hang out all the time.
The best one would have been to show with Sean and Marty.
Oh, that would have been a good one.
They were not friends after that, though.
I don't think they were friends before that, but they definitely weren't after.
Well, I disagree that wrestling is like a movie.
I didn't say it was. I'm just saying that it's not hard to have that conversation.
That's why I hate cinematic matches. I want them to die.
I mean, they kind of have.
The only cinematic match I will ever be in favor of is Mick Foley said he could have one. That's the way he could have one more match. I can live with that.
Okay.
Just
what about like Sting versus Tully?
No, get in there and do it or don't do it.
Okay.
You can do it. If you're cleared for bumps, go.
What about Taker and Sting?
No, I don't want any more Taker cinematic matches. No more. Just let no. Because Taker was right about that.
They could die.
Don't get in there then. Okay.
Moving on.
Anybody see Cody Rhodes work under a mask at the AEW Dark Tapings?
Nope.
McCarthy, yeah, I didn't see that either.
You didn't see it?
I saw what you sent, but I couldn't really gauge what the hell was going on.
I want you to Google that real quick.
I'm doing it.
Okay.
I want you to Google that real quick, boys. He's now part of Too Fast, Too Fuego. Too Fast, Too Fuego. He's working under a mask. Are you seeing this, Snapper?
I'm working on it.
Okay.
Oh, dear God. Why?
That's what I want to ask you, gentlemen. Why?
Why? Because he loves Fuego del Sol too much. That's why.
No, seriously, why? Why is he a masked luchador all of a sudden here?
I don't know. Why was Hulk
That's
Hogan?
it. I'm showing Cody Rhodes. I have that mask in blue, and I bought it on the cruise. That was years ago. I have proof. No, this is stupid. This is dumb. What are you even doing? Does he think this is going to help Fuego del Sol get over?
No, it's going to get him laughed at. Because he's probably going to be more over than Fuego del Sol. Is this how he wants to get over? Is this it? He's going to join a tag team with Fuego del Sol?
They're called Too Fast, Too Fuego.
Yeah.
McCarthy, thoughts?
I hope he turns on Fuego del Sol.
Stupid. You know what? I'm going to say it. It insults our intelligence, for one. For one. Are we that freaking stupid? Do you think we're that stupid to not know that this is Cody freaking Rhodes?
Stardust.
I just don't. I just can't. I just can't.
He's
I just
upsetting you
can't.
by the day.
I'd rather see CM Punk wrestle with no story for the next 6 months than see that.
So you won't be watching this episode of Dark?
I don't ever have time to watch Dark. Get serious.
That's hard on this show.
This insulted my intelligence more than Mr. America.
Let me tell you what. As a child, I believed that, brother. No, I was 7 years old watching that, and I was a little Hulkster, as you know.
Yeah.
And that when Vince showed that clip of Hogan raising up his master, we all knew it was Hogan. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
When Vince showed that clip of Hogan raising up his master, real Hulk Hogan, my heart sank. Remember the lie detector? Yeah. As a little kid, you don't know this business is a work. I was so nervous because I knew that was Hulk Hogan. And I said, what's he going to do? How's he going to get out of this? He's going to be banned forever. I was so worked up. And I remember watching that clip of SmackDown when Vince revealed the week after in the Dark segment that Hogan had revealed that he is Mr. America. I went, Hulk, no. I couldn't believe that Hulk was so stupid to make that mistake. I was so mad. Back when wrestling was real to me. Still is, really. That's why I get so damn mad.
This is worse than Juan Cena.
Ah, I forgot about that.
Juan Cena.
I did too, but this article that I'm reading mentioned it. It's like, oh yeah, that happened.
Well, here's hoping that Too Fast, Too Fuego has a great run. What do you think? Tag champs, McCarthy? Tag champs?
Oh God.
Oh dear God, no, please. Like that would be egregious.
I want to see it just because I want to see McCarthy's reaction. I'll buy a Too Fast, Too Fuego shirt if it happens. On the Shop AEW.
I might have a coronary if that happens.
That's exactly why I want to see it.
I'm looking at it on Twitter. Like the first comment. Why would they boo somebody they haven't seen before and is clearly making their AEW debut?
Really rude of that audience.
I know. How could they?
It's terrible.
All right. Speaking of usually terrible, Monday Night Raw.
Usually terrible.
Wasn't terrible this week.
No, it was not.
It was 3 pretty good hours. Don't you agree, Mr. Napper?
I do.
Mr. McCarthy, wasn't Raw great last night?
McCarthy. I think he's dead. We killed him.
Okay.
He's gone.
All right, so Seth Rollins survived a
Oh, wait, no, there he is.
All right, fine.
McCarthy. Can you hear us?
Oh, great. Well, while he's working that out. Okay. Seth Rollins survived a grueling fatal 4-way ladder match to earn a WWE Championship opportunity. What'd you think?
Well, like we kind of talked about earlier on the show, it kind of sucked.
Wait, are you asking me? Sorry, my stuff was being stupid again.
No, you're good. It's a good thing he said something because I was muted anyway, so I'm glad I noticed that. Yay! No, he was asking me. Because we didn't know what was going on with you.
My Raycons were being dumb.
It's okay. Like we were talking about earlier, I think it sucks because I was kind of hoping it would be one of the other three. Is it the worst thing in the world that Seth Rollins won? No. Like, yeah, it's going to be cool. It'll be a fun match probably. But it does kind of, it falls back into that it's the same damn people all the flipping time. Give somebody else a shot, please. So it does kind of suck for that. It was a great match, though. It kind of sucks that it had to happen on a Raw because, like, every commercial break, I was like, no, something cool's going to happen. And then they came back from commercial. Like, that kind of takes me out of it a little bit sometimes with those matches. So I didn't appreciate that. But I still thought it was a pretty good match. A lot of good spots, especially with Ray in there. I thought it was cool they included Ray.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they included Ray. I didn't understand that part. I get it. He's a former world champion, but Ray, you haven't exactly done anything any time recently worthy of a WWE championship spot. So why are you in this match? Just because you're a legend. Okay, cool.
I mean, Goldberg gets title shots off that.
That's fair.
Bianca Belair delivered a painful statement to Becky Lynch in pursuit of the Raw Women's Championship. I thought this was the best Bianca's ever looked on the microphone. It was incredible because there was a level of truth to it. Matter of fact, I think she surprised Becky by how good she was because Becky looked a little shook. I don't mean in terms of like, wow, that's really true, but like, I wondered if she knew she was going to go there, kind of. So, McCarthy, what'd you think?
I agree with you 100%. Her best promo to date. And I'll be honest, I kind of hope Becky didn't know she was going there. Like, she might have been like, because, it's professionalism to be like, I might go to some pretty bad places. Just a heads up. But you also can't tell them exactly what you're going to say. So I hope that conversation happened, but she didn't tell her what she was going to say exactly. But she was like, I'm going to lay into you. And Becky was probably like, okay.
Well, what were your thoughts, Never?
I agree. My only thing was I loved the promo, didn't like the fight. I thought the fight was clunky. The kendo stick shots and everything, it seemed like it was either rushed or they weren't connecting. It made it a little less like believable. So the fight kind of took me out of it a little bit, but I will agree with both of you. That was the best promo Bianca Belair has cut since she's been on the main roster. And I was starting to get nervous because of the way the promo was going. We've had this continuous thought that maybe at some point she needs to turn heel. I think if she continues the way she just continued last night, she'll be fine. But it definitely put her in the top spot now. Now I believe her as a challenger. Let's see where this goes.
All right. Keith Bearcat Lee defeated Cedric Alexander. Quick question, gentlemen, because there's not much to say on this match itself. Do you have any issue with the Hurt Business pretty much being fed to Keith Lee? Napper, I'll start with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely I do. Why? We just brought them back in what was probably the biggest surprise of the year for the most part. Oh, my God, the Hurt Business is back. Wow, they're back together with Bobby Lashley? All right. They're losing again. Yay. I know we just had Bobby lose to Goldberg. Mm-hmm. Why are we having the Hurt Business lose to everybody again? Let this be a dominant faction again. Even if Bobby doesn't get the world title anytime soon, they could still make this a pretty damn big faction. Have Bobby win the U.S. title. Have them win the SmackDown or the Raw tag team titles. That'd still be a pretty big damn deal. But no, we're going to have them keep losing because they're associated with Bobby Lashley. They can't possibly look strong.
But to be fair, they're still building Bobby Lashley like a star deal with that.
But that's the point. That's the point. That's the problem. Like, you're going to build Bobby Lashley as this godly man, and his cohorts just get to be there. Like, they're kind of just there. They're cannon fodder. We don't care about them.
McCarthy, what are your thoughts?
It's egregious as hell. Like, yeah, you want to make Keith Lee strong because, aside from him getting sick, you mismanaged him poorly. Mm-hmm. But do we have to feed the Hurt Business to him? Like, isn't that hurting the tag team ranks at this point? Because obviously he's going to go up against... I've gotten so riled up. Shelton Benjamin. Mm-hmm. And we know he's going to rip him apart too. I like seeing angry Keith Lee. But why is he tearing through established stars like this? Maybe single stars. But shouldn't Cedric and Benjamin be trying to wrestle for the tag team championships? Aren't they a tag team
per se.
Yeah, why was that triple threat a triple threat and not a fatal 4-way?
Well, you can't have 2 4-ways.
Why
That would
not?
be crazy. I agree, because it's totally different, because one's a tag team and one's a ladder match. And you could have made it a fatal 4-way tag team elimination match and all kinds of craziness.
There's
But
always
no.
room for 4-ways.
Yeah.
4 ways?
Skyline. Sky.
See, he got it.
Yep. Absolutely. All right. RK Bro retained the Raw Tag Team titles against Dolph Ziggler, Robert Roode. Quick question: did the right team win?
Yes.
I don't think so. McCarthy, what say you? Tiebreaker.
Yeah, the right team won because we're not ready for RK Bro to be over yet. There's still some legs in this.
I get why you say no.
But it's like it's obvious they're going to face at Mania. Can we do something different? Can we do something that isn't obvious?
Yeah. I get why you say no, and to a degree, I did want to see them win. I would have loved to have seen them win because I had the same thought last night, and my immediate brain went, "Can we send these guys to NXT, please? Because they're being horribly mismanaged. Same as Hurt Business."
Yeah, you know what a big fan of Dolph Ziggler I am, so I'm sure that plays in.
And I'm a big fan of Bobby Roode. I want to see him have a singles run, to be honest with you, because at some point they've completely screwed that over. He should have been vying for every singles title there ever was in WWE, and he never really went after a single one.
When I watched him in TNA back in those days, when he turned on Beer Money and turned on Jim Storm, and had his big run as champion, I thought, man, he's this generation's Triple H.
That was the highlight of TNA.
That was the best decision that Bischoff and Hogan made as far as their booking goes. Was they believed in Bobby Roode and put the belt on him.
The only other one that it was really like, I enjoyed Aces and Eights. I did. I thought that was a good storyline. The other big thing they did that came out of that was Bully Ray getting the title. That was the only other decision I thought they made during that time that was actually a really good decision, because I thought he showed he can be a really good single star. But yeah, Beer Money and Bobby Roode, like that whole breakup and everything.
It was some of the best. Like I said,
Beautiful.
It was probably truly the best booking that Bischoff and Hogan did there. All right. So with that, we've got to move it along. It's time for us to wrap it up. So to do that, we've got to make some Halloween Havoc predictions as it hits the airwaves right now. All right, MSK and Imperium are going to spin the wheel for the NXT Tag Championships. Who's going to win this match?
I think Imperium wins it.
As do I. Mr. McCarthy?
I agree with you guys.
NXT Women's Tag Team title match climbs the stairway to hell at Halloween Havoc. Who wins this match?
I forget who's in it.
Toxic Attraction, who I think is going to win it.
I do too.
And then, who the hell is it, McCarthy? Help me.
I don't know who's all in it either, but I think a Toxic Attraction wins.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Isn't it Caden and Casey?
Yeah.
I still think that. I agree.
Attraction for
Toxic.
sure.
And then Gonzalez is going to face Mandy Rose, of course. I think Mandy Rose gets it done.
I think Raquel gets it done.
What about you, McCarthy?
I'm with you, Logan. It's Rose's time.
And finally, NXT champion Tommaso Ciampa is going to take on Braun Breaker. Who gets the W, Mr. McCarthy?
Tommaso Ciampa.
I'm going to go Braun Breaker. Tommaso Ciampa's done in NXT.
Breaker.
You going with Breaker?
Breaker.
All right.
Breaker 1-9.
With that, gentlemen, any final words?
I do have one quick thing I wanted to touch on that I forgot to touch on. So there was one piece of history that was also made on top of the other two women's matches in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
I thought having 6 women involved in that pay-per-view was a huge step towards at least Stephanie's goal of being over.
Yeah.
And the women's goal of being over there. That's huge. Because remember, first they wouldn't let them. Then only one match. Now we're getting 2 matches. One of them has 3 women in it. We have a referee who, she did the Hell in a Cell. She do the women's title match too?
I think so.
Yeah.
So I mean, those are big.
I think she
time
definitely did the
matches.
women's matches.
Those are big time matches that she was involved in, and she's breaking grounds as, you know, a female referee, much like Aubrey Edwards is. But this is on another level of what Aubrey Edwards has been able to do because of the situation that was presented to her. And she didn't look like she was scared. She didn't look like she didn't belong. It didn't look like, oh crap, we need a female ref, let's just pick somebody. Like, she's gotten to this point from her hard work, and maybe because she's surrounded by, you know, their pay-per-view calendar, and, you know, women are allowed, I don't want to say allowed, women do a lot more in this country than Saudi Arabia, where there's a lot more restrictions on women in Saudi Arabia. I think that made more people take notice of what she has been able to do just as a referee in professional wrestling.
Yeah. So, but I saw that on Edge's Twitter. I saw it on Facebook actually too. So I definitely wanted to point that out because that was pretty cool.
I agree. Any final words, McCarthy, before we bid farewell?
No, just tune in to the Bruce Cruz podcast, the only podcast that brings you pro wrestling for your ears. And tune into Bruce Cruz podcast Macabro. We're covering Ancient Alien Theory this week. Yeah.
All right, and we will be on that zombie luchador deal.
Yeah.
It's not a zombie luchador. I don't want to give it away, but you know what I'm talking about. We did zombies last week.
All right.
Well, I did zombies last week.
Okay. All right.
Wow.
There's a luchador story
Gotcha.
that we're doing
Okay.
All right.
next week. It comes out next week. I don't want to give anything away because it's shocking.
Send me my lines. All right.
I'm still writing the Ancient Alien lines. I can't send you these lines yet. I'll send them to you Saturday.
All right. That's fine. We'll talk. All
Okay.
right. With that, ladies and gentlemen, again, as I always want to end by saying, look, I know that times are tough, and I know that it's a crazy time out there, but we will get through this. Getting a little colder out, as you can see. I'm sporting a nice big Reds hoodie. Wish they were in the World Series. That's not the case. Maybe next year. With that, I just want to remind you, please do something to make somebody smile each and every day. You don't know what someone's going through and what a little gesture could mean. And if you need a friend, don't be afraid to reach out to us. I feel compelled to say that with Kylie Ray, again, announcing this week that she's stepping away from wrestling for a little while for mental health issues to handle that. So, again, if you need a friend or if you need to talk to somebody, don't be afraid to reach out to us. Doesn't mean we'll have all the answers or say what we want to hear, but we promise that we do care about each and every one of you, and the world is much better with you here than otherwise. So with that, I'm going to go watch NWA Power, and I love you, Buckle Brigade, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. We'll see you next week right here, 5 to 8, same bat time, same bat channel. Till then, take care. God bless.
Same buckle place, same buckle time.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.